Go ahead and call the meeting order. Stand and say the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Trustee Whitehead.
Yes.
Trustee Finley.
Here.
Trustee Sheet.
Yes.
Trustee Sims.
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn.
Yes.
Just want to let everybody know that any of the audience wishes to speak, we're still at the 3 limit. We voted on that a while back. So any public that wishes to have a comment, it's a 3-minute time limit. Locks on the back wall if you wish to see where you're at on the time. Thank you. I need a motion to amend the agenda presented to add 7.3 fire and EMS committee meeting minutes. Plus, I also need to eliminate the clerk report being she is not here tonight. Make a motion.
Trustee Finley.
Yes.
Trustee Sheet.
Yes.
Trustee Whitehead.
Yes.
Trustee Sims. Yes. Trustee Vaughn.
Yes.
For need approval of April 16th, 2026 board meeting minutes. Need a motion.
Make a motion. Second.
Trustee Sheet.
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn.
Yes.
Trustee Whitehead.
Yes.
Trustee Sims. Yes. Trustee Finley.
Yes. I need a motion to approve April 30th, 2026 special board meeting minutes.
Motion. Trustee Sims. Yes. Trustee Sheet.
Yes.
Trustee Finley.
Yes.
Trustee Whitehead.
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn.
Yes.
I need a motion to approve the finance report and pay the bills. Make motion. All right, Doug.
You get a second.
Trustee Finley.
Yes.
Trustee Sheet.
Yes.
Trustee Whitehead.
Yes.
Trustee Sims. Yes. Trustee Vaughn.
Yes.
At this time, is there any committees that wish to make a report? Moving on. I need the approval. Okay. Need the approval of the April 13th, 2026 Finance Committee meeting and minute. Vanessa?
He's a question. If they're working on the board.
Okay.
Motion.
Second.
Trustee Sims.
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn.
Yes.
Trustee Whitehead.
Yes.
Trustee Finley.
Yes.
Trustee Sheet.
Yes. I need a motion to approve the May 14th, 2026 ordinance committee meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Trustee Sims. Yes. Trustee Whitehead.
Yes. I need a motion to approve the May 12th, 2026 fire and EMS committee meeting minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Trustee Vaughn.
Yes.
Trustee Whitehead.
Yes.
Trustee Finley.
Yes. Okay, I'll move on to the audience. Becky, do you wish to speak?
Yes, please.
Please. Hey, Mike, can you look that? Please.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
I have a couple of things. I was hoping Ted Hardy could be here tonight, but apparently
Excuse me, state your name, please.
Becky Miller.
Thank you.
And if I have time, a couple of things he said the other night at the Catlin meeting really stuck in my head. I'll go over that. If not, whenever you have an ordinance meeting, I'll do it then. something wasn't right with Earthrise. They show up out of nowhere and they have all this power, and we got lawyers that are afraid to battle or tackle them or anything. I thought something's not right. So then all of a sudden it hit me one night. I wonder if Pritzkers are involved in this. So I started doing some online digging, and I couldn't find anything with Earthrise and Pritzker. I mentioned it to a friend of mine, and that person 24 hours later goes, "Is this what you're looking for?" And sure enough, remember how Earthrise has talked about Vision Ridge, and that's their chief financial backer and everything? Well, Vision Ridge is a primary backer for Earthrise Energy. Other places on the internet will say Vision Ridge Partners is actually the parent company of Earthrise Energy. And if you Google search Vision Ridge connection with Hyatt/Pritzker family, you come up with, here's the link, members of the Pritzker family and their investment vehicles have notable ties to Vision Ridge Partners. Specifically, Blue Haven Initiative, LaSalle BP, Pritzker Simmons and her husband, Capricorn Investment Group, LaSalle P. Simmons and Pritzker and her husband, Teo Invest, which are Nick and Jody Pritzker. And Hyatt family is a key limited partner and early capital provider in Vision Ridge, which that's their money source. Proterra was a deal between the Pritzkers and Vision Ridge way back that had to do with electric buses. That went bankrupt, but not before the investors got their money out of it all. Why is this important? Well, the recent legislative overtaking of our country by this state in 2023, and now again, that to me, that's a little corrupt. We're making laws that will benefit our own family in a roundabout way. Personally, the feds are cutting off some of these subsidies, but the state is still handing them out. Those subsidies are coming from my tax dollar and your tax money, and I have a hard time with that. As for Ted Harkey, if I still have time, he mentioned the other day that at 40 decibel dBA, that's where sleep disturbances start, and he suggested on your ordinances, everybody have a 39.5 max dBA, otherwise it affects people's sleep. The other thing he said at your meeting here, anybody wants to know after the meeting, I'll be happy to tell you.
Thank you, Becky. What'd you say, 39.5?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
More of what she's talking about.
Please don't take it. Moving right along. Village engineer Tom Overmeyer.
We opened bids for the MFT work, has one bidder, Ruby Trucking, $126,142.08. We need to accept the proposal. We need to accept the proposal.
For, I think,
Dan, Ruby Trucking, $126,142.08.
I was trying to backtrack on my phone, we was checking something a minute ago. Need a motion to accept proposal to furnish materials and approval of award for Ribby Trucking for $126,142.08.
Trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Weidenberger,
Yes.
trustee Smith. Yep. Trustee Barnes.
Yes.
We also opened a proposal for locally paid for street work. We had one bidder, Ruby Trucking. This was for work in the park, around Public Works, and then shoulder or edge of roadway repair on roads we're going to do MFT work on. That amount was $210,281.48. We need to accept that proposal.
Yeah, I need a motion to accept for non-MFT proposal to furnish materials, approval award for trucking, for Ribby Trucking for $210,281.48.
I make a motion to accept.
Trustee Fennel?
Yes.
Trustee Sims?
Yes.
Trustee Sheets? Trustee Sheets?
You should send.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
Trustee Whitemer?
Yes.
Trustee Laura?
Yes.
Just a piece of information, we did advertise for bids for the sewer line project, and bid openings June 3rd, 10 a.m. here. So at the next board meeting, we should have, hopefully a contract to,
Did you have something to be in?
act on. That's it.
Anything else, Tom?
That's it.
Report of Fire Chief Chris McMahon.
We're still doing the Queen of Hearts. It's a little over $3,000 now to the winner, so good chance for everybody to go do that. Hoping to sell more tickets after we get outside. We hosted the IFSI class, the mobile water supply. 10 of our members showed up. We did get 15 outside members. It was a great class. It was all day. It's an 8-hour class. We flowed thousands of gallons of water. We estimated close to about 20,000 gallons of water through the whole training, so it was a lot of good training. We did our monthly maintenance. Right now we're concentrating on VOT. They are finishing this week, the first module A. So we'll be getting ready to do set them up for state testing. They start module B next week, and then the final one will be module C. Pretty much it for that. The other thing I have is that on engine 3, we're starting to see a little bit of fade in the paint color. We just got it fixed, and Tilton Detail has they've been doing some fire trucks around Muhammad, St. Joe's, I think they did theirs too, where they do a complete ceramic coat on it, take the truck and coat the lights even, for about $3,000, and so the actual price of it is pretty good. And I'm asking to get that done. I figure out where it went.
It's just $3,000.
It was what?
Even.
It was 3,000 even, yes. Yeah, I'll just double check, I'll make sure there wasn't some cents on it. I said the wrong thing, so.
Any question?
Commissioner, we got it fixed?
Do what?
You said we got it fixed and now?
Yeah, we got a big ding on it, it cost like $400 or $500 to fix it. We don't know how it showed up, it started peeling on the driver door, so Trucelli's fixed that for us, about 2 months ago. And it's starting to fade a little bit, so it's like, I could get it back to showroom quality. And ceramic coats are pretty good.
Any more questions?
Or in the budget? There's something in the budget for this?
I mean, it's a new budget, so that.
Well, I was just reading from before where we had excessive spending from the last time, so I just why I'm asking.
Motion?
Make a motion, go and get ceramic coat on the fire truck.
Second.
Trustee Fennel?
Yes.
Trustee Barnes?
Yes.
Trustee Whitemer?
No.
Trustee Sims? Yes. Trustee Sheets?
That what you got, Chris?
That's all I got, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Report of EMS coordinator, who's doing it? Anybody?
Okay, I can do it. Just give me a second here. Looks like
Right, done it.
74 dispatches, 41 were in Tilton, covered 3, 2 outs in Tilton, not covered 2. Lynch 19, Oakwood 8, Georgetown 6, and 2 transfers. Doing of the EMS charts, getting those done. I will say, just before board meeting, the ambulance did have a cardiac arrest save. We got them to the hospital, and before I came here, they said they're already flying them over to another hospital alive. So that's it.
Thank you. Public Works Director, TJ George.
Oh, where do I start? I got all the old playground removed from the ballpark. Did some ditch work, back some culverts down on Willis Street, Crestwood area. A lot of that was from a water main break and plugged everybody up down there. I've been running the sweeper, fixed a couple knocked over stop signs, getting all the dump trucks tested for the year, helped the IT department get fiber to the ambulance house now. Been mowing several abandoned properties in town. Julie's have started back up for the fiber, of course. I was contacted by the mayor of Henning about the playground equipment that came out of the ballpark, about possibly donating it to them. My opinion for us, it's not worth anything. We're not gonna get nothing out of it. I mean, if you guys wanna move forward with it, I would that we're not reliable for responsibility for anything, because there are some pieces that are in rough shape and probably gonna be discarded, but that's gonna be up to them and how they choose to go about with it.
Dave, should we have them sign something?
Yeah, I think if you coordinate with them, are they gonna come and look at it?
They've already came looked at it. I think she spoke with Tiffany.
So they will take it all regardless of that.
That's what
Okay,
she said.
yeah, probably should have something that just says that, yeah, they take it as is and whatever liability is on them.
Any questions? Need a motion?
A motion. Yay.
To donate the playground equipment for the ballpark to Henning.
Yay.
Second stipulation that not responsible for the equipment safety.
Yay. Second.
Trustee Sims,
Yes.
trustee Warren,
Yes.
trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Finley.
Yes.
Trustee Whitebird.
Yes.
All the new plows came in got put on the truck, so we purchased a few months back, went to surplus the 3 that came off of it. The Western 10-foot Pro Plus heavy duty plows, like set the minimum bid for 2 of them at $5,500
Both together?
per plow.
Okay.
And one of them for $4,000, because it has some damage that could be fixed.
Questions? Need a motion to surplus 3 old snow plows with minimum bid on 2 for $5,500 and 1 for $4,000.
Make a motion. Second.
Trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Sims,
Yes.
trustee Finley.
Yes.
Trustee Whitebird,
Yes.
trustee Barnes.
Yes.
Here are they?
Police Chief Phil Bernardi.
Last month, handled 339 calls for service, 6 arrests. Officers got 10 PMTs, issued 47 traffic citations with 54 warnings. No ordinance warnings, 1 ordinance violation, or 7 ordinance violations were issued in the village. Also, one of our new hire, Cody Herman, started his field training with us this week. Other than that, I haven't.
Would you mind mentioning how many officers is on this department that's involved with the training center now?
Oh, yeah, even after our most recent class, sending one of our officers to it. Now, almost half our department's employed by the police training institute at the University of Illinois. That they picked up us as adjunct instructors with the university.
Thanks. Andrew? You want to do this?
He's only got one thing.
I don't know if you have anything now.
Sewer plant's still working good.
Good.
Toilet's still
It's all flowing downhill.
With, the opening came about, Chad and I think Tiffany helped out with to hire another assistant to get in the program and everything. Chad's looking to hire Anthony Rush to fill that spot,
He's here tonight.
and he is here in the audience.
Well, we're bored.
Well, we need to get ready for it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, you made it through the door.
So you need a.
TJ, could you answer a question for me?
Maybe.
Well, I was wanting to know, I know that punch list, these are supposed to be coming next Tuesday. Did they ever say how much of that they're gonna try to knock out? And it was quite a good size.
No, they didn't.
All right, well, if they seem to be dragging, considering it's been few months now, and let me know, and we'll get a call to help.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion to, make a motion to hire Anthony Rush for sewer department. Second.
Trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Wyler,
Yes.
trustee Sheets,
Yeah.
trustee Sims,
Yeah.
trustee Barnes.
Yes.
Congratulations.
See, I knew what I was talking about. Code enforcement officer Dave Biggerstaff.
All right, open cases, I've got 28 first notices out, 22 final notices, 4 notices to appear, we've got 43 closed cases. We've got 2 demos coming up sometime, Washington Street and Glendale.
I talked to him, yes, 2 days ago.
Just whenever he can get there, I guess. We had our ordinance committee meeting where I'll be working on the mobile home park ordinance. We've got to come up with some stuff on that. And then I just want to let you know this iWork software has been working great. It's a huge time saver. So it was a very, very good investment. That's it.
Thank you, Dave. The head of the IT department, Brian Donovan.
Nothing much. We did get the fiber run into the EMS house, so they got more stable internet connection. Got that plugged in today and working. Other than that, just trying to keep up on other projects.
Have it come over board. You didn't have it come over board that.
Huh?
You didn't have it-
No, we dug it.
We bored you first.
Any other complaints towards the IT?
Nope, you fixed my iPad, appreciate it.
Thanks, Brian. Treasurer report, Cassidy Ward.
So for the month, I made the bank deposits, reconciled the bank statements, took in payments, either by mail, over the phone, or in person, payroll and paid taxes, filed the monthly wage report for IMRF, filed the monthly athletic report, and turned in all the invoices into QuickBooks, will be paid, sent out tomorrow. And then the only thing that I have on here is the ordinance to approve the budget for the fiscal year ending April 30, 2027.
Any questions? Need a motion to approve the excuse me, ordinance 2026-0521, ordinance approving the Village of Tilton annual budget for a fiscal year ending April 30th, 2027.
Second.
Trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Wyler,
Yes.
trustee Sims,
Yes.
trustee Barnes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. City Administrator's report, Tiffany Jones.
I met with, about 4 or 5 developers this month, talked about, TIF agreements and, other issues. We had a joint meeting with all the utilities about the fiber going in and the issues we had. Things are getting better in that area. We had a meeting with Moran Economic Development, and we put together an advisory committee, and we talked about our economic development part of the website. And there's gonna be a survey going up on our website very soon, and I invite everybody to take it. So just, on Facebook and or on our website, tiltonil.com, to try to get the economic development part of our website done. I had 4 or 5 meetings, that with just several different, citizens. We had a meeting about municipal court. Okay, so we talked, last month about, hiring a grant writer because we're growing, we're getting bigger, we need somebody professional to help us out. I talked to a few people. I talked to one national person. They were very expensive. It was $12,000 to $16,000 per grant, federal grant or state grant for them to apply for us. And they only have a 50 to 70% success rate. Now Nicole Van Hefty, I met with her also. She's fairly new, but she's from this area. I feel like she has a good grasp. She worked for Vermilion Advantage. She knows the area. And with her, you know, it would be $1,500 a month. But she could apply for some of these grants that we don't have the time to do, and she has a lot of experience doing this. And then if we were awarded the grant, it would be 5%. I think, make sure, sorry. Yeah, 5% success fee. So, you know, we're just trying to maybe find some opportunities out there that we don't have time to go after, that take a lot of time and effort. And, you know, this is a year agreement, but I think that I feel like we should try to give her a chance and see if maybe she can get some of the things we couldn't.
Was that 5% success fee, does that include like the grant administration?
That's $1,500 a month. Well, she said, okay, so on some of these grants, like, hold on just a second. So like, here's one for rural development, community facilities program. So the estimated fee for her would be $2,500 to $6,000 plus a 5% success fee. So if you look under onboard, there is a fee for each one depending on what they are. And I know that the federal ones are considerably, they take a longer time because I've applied for some of them.
So that 5%, is that a
Success fee.
Is that a grant eligible item, or is that something the village has to?
She said a lot of times she could write it into the grant.
So she'd be $1,500 a month plus
Yes.
whatever
If we
her
were
fee would
awarded.
be.
If we were awarded.
Well, no, I think
Because
what
she's saying
it's 1,500 a month, the retainer, a fee to apply.
Because let's just use this for example. So the 2,500, 6,000 plus a 5% success fee. So the 1,500 a month, and then that's a pretty good range between 2,500 and 6,000 plus a success fee.
Okay, so proposed investment, municipal retainer, $1,500 a month. In addition, a 5% success fee would apply only to successfully awarded grant funding. She didn't say anything about that. I mean, I see it, but I thought that was just if we were awarded the grant. I mean, that's a good question. I didn't think about it, but would you like me to call her right now and ask her? And you guys can move on and then I'll come back.
I think it'd be a good idea, because, yeah, we'll spend the 5,000, find out it doesn't go, doesn't get the grant.
Right, yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah,
Right, those grants, it's a lot.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, it's
I guarantee that. But I'd also,
yeah, you got somebody who's able to write them, it's,
I think you're doing that for $1,500.
well, but, and also if she does so many, it may be at 20,000 a month. I mean, so I mean, you gotta kind of watch
Wants
it too,
to.
so.
You just gotta be more, very
we're selecting one
selective.
person
Correct.
from the staff. Her phone's off.
If anything, bring it up next month.
Yeah, we can bring it up next month.
I mean, I love the idea, it's just.
Yeah, I understand. I'm sorry, I missed that.
Cost.
It was busy this month.
actually, we need to,
We don't have to do anything, it can be brought up at a later date, just.
Okay, we had a citizen, Carl Robertson, come in. His property is on East Third Street. And most of his property is not in the TIF district, but there is one parcel that is in the TIF district, and he wants us to remove it so that he can combine all of his properties. Now, I couldn't tell him yes or no, that's for all of you to vote on. We bring in about $700 a year on that parcel.
Any question?
I think we,
Oh, now the TIF. It's pretty.
Yeah, he's
Easy
just trying to
decision to
save
me.
himself.
I mean, he's just trying to save himself.
He's just trying to combine it,
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 lots into one. Does that stop him from doing that?
Yeah.
Yes?
they're not the same tax.
Yeah, because you can't say this little piece is percent is TIF, right?
Well, because I think it would be, the question is, if there are different parcels, one's in, and subject to that, it would almost be reducing the TIF area too. And I'm, again, I'd have to look into it because I'm not as familiar with that kind of concept in terms of combining parcels versus reducing it by the one lot he's got or expanding it to include the others so that he can actually do the same thing. But that may
You
be a
think
question
we
of
can do that?
TIF consultant, or I can look into it, but
I can email them.
Yeah.
'Cause I didn't think about that.
The only question I would have is, did he ever benefit from the TIF when he built the barn?
No.
Okay.
Cause it'll go up if he's in there, if we pull that other, right? All into the tip.
No, it wouldn't go up, it would just, because TIF doesn't go up. It's just once you improve the property, then we get the taxes on the improvement.
So you're getting 700 a year.
Yes, on the pole barn.
Any more questions? Need a motion to remove Carl Robertson's partial from the TIF two.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Trustee Wyrick,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Sheets,
Yeah.
trustee Sims,
Yes.
trustee Warren.
Yes.
The next one is the ordinance, with us giving Ryan Quick the retention pond, and then there's another ordinance right after it where we'll be vacating certain easements. Wait,
Why don't you go ahead and you do it?
yeah, that's it,
Oh,
the retention pond.
oh, no problem.
Tom, I'm assuming you've read it,
Yes,
and you're okay with it?
yes.
For those of the other stuff, Ryan Quist getting ready to add to his housing development down there, and he's gonna start adding more units.
Senior housing area.
Yes,
No questions? Need a motion for ordinance 2026-0521A, ordinance authorizing the disposal of municipally owned surplus real property.
Motion.
Second.
Trustee Sims,
Yes.
trustee Warren,
Yes.
trustee Sheets,
Yeah.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Wyrick,
Yes.
the next one is where, we're vacating certain easements based on the new survey we got. And he's talked to the adjacent property owner, and I think they're okay with it. Right, Tom?
Talking about,
Sean?
you're talking, well, on our vacating of these, since it has nothing to do with the other property owners.
Oh, okay, yeah. So this is just vacating certain easements that were in the original plat.
There were easements that were platted back when the subdivision was platted. We vacated the right of way back in 2005. But there was a bunch of utility easements that were part of the subdivision that are needed now. So we're vacating those now, 20 years later.
Question? Need a motion to accept ordinance 2026-0521B, ordinance vacating certain easements within that area.
Second.
trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Wyrick,
Yes.
trustee Sims,
Yes.
trustee Warren.
Yes.
Mayor's report. Had a joint meet with Danville Township, surrounding communities, utilities, and the mooring company over at the township building for everybody to voice their frustration and how the mooring crews have been destroying our municipalities after we pulled their permit. Since then, since then, Comcast has we gave them a test run on 14th Street, they're doing real well, but they've also added one more feature to their construction crew. When you see Comcast, you'll see a gentleman in a white hard hat. He is actually a representative of Comcast. He's there to oversee that everything goes the way it's supposed to. After the regional vice president, they classified him as the CEO of the Chicago region, the vice president of the construction for Comcast. We've met with them multiple times. Matter of fact, they was just here the other day. They assured us that the problems that we were having will no longer happen here. I don't know about Belgium, Westville, or anybody else, but here they're gonna make sure, because I told them I wouldn't hesitate to pull their permit again. Had a meeting with Earthrise to discuss discuss the roads out there. One of the main things is we was trying to find out how much of a load limit they're gonna be running on the roads. I think Justin sent something.
160 tons, I think.
And I believe we forwarded it to our engineer for him to make a determination on that, but it sounded like a god-awful amount of weight to me, but
160 tons.
160 tons on one load. So we'll be getting with Tom to figure out what we need to do to make sure they don't destroy our roads. After that discussion, I was approached by the gentleman from Earthrise, and he offered us a fire truck. And I politely told him for the 15th time, I've told these people, the village of Tilton is not accepting any kind of cash donation, gratuities, or anything from you. I said, matter of fact, when it's all said and done, you may not want to donate to us. Had a meeting on the fire station plans. Paul Offit and Sean Cooley came in and talked about a development. I already told you about Comcast. Lisa Comer came in, the county risk manager, and we had a nice discussion. She caught an error that we made, which we will discuss later. Chris Hansen from Earthrise came in the other day. For some reason, he doesn't like coming here by himself. He gets a hold of Dan Ruby to bring him in here. But anyway, Chris came in here, the understanding I have is Earthrise has two issues with our ordinance. One of them has to do with the testing, and one has to do with our half-mile land use plan. I told him on the testing, I said, I gotta be honest with you, I said, I'm not a very intelligent person, but I said, renewable energy was to save the planet from pollution, so why does the people that's not supposed to pollute are so against testing for pollution? I said, I got a way to resolve this for you. Put one solar panel, put it on a 12 to 18 inch pad to keep it above the ground so groundwater cannot go across it. Put a dip in it to pull test water from. Do that with that, the inverters and everything else. That way there, you have no cross contamination. You shouldn't have no problem with that. If your stuff's so pure, you ought to be able to tell by dipping it out of that concrete. Now, he's supposed to be getting back with me to all these studies and all that. And the first thing that we brought up was, are these studies done by renewable energy companies? So that's where we're at with that. As far as the land use, I told him anything's possible in land use, but I said, what you have to do with that half-mile land use plan we have in place out there, I said, you would have to come before the board and request a variance for the amount of property that you feel that you need to generate the megawatts that you're trying to do. I said, but I'm telling you right now, there's a reason why that's out there, but go for it. We met with Brian Carnegie and Todd Cox just yesterday. I went to the Remain Advantage special meeting today. At that meeting, I had an opportunity to speak with the Danville Sanitary District boss, which is David Schnell. And we were discussing possibly going into an intergovernmental agreement for to help them sometimes with our vector. But one of the main things they're needing right now is they're trying to find a sewer lateral, and they want to know if we had a TV camera to help them locate it. They know it's there, but they have no plans showing the exact location. So I told them we could possibly go into an intergovernmental agreement on that. While I was there, I also spoke with Andy Christ with Aqua. So talked to Andy about a lot of different things going on in this town, and I requested that we start meeting with Aqua to start planning ahead for new water mains and that type of stuff. But I don't want to do it. I want to be able to be 2 years in advance. That way they know what's going on, they can plan for it, and when it starts coming, they'll have the materials to move forward with it. Talked to him about a couple of other little projects going on right now, whether it's issues. Had phone meetings with Earthrise, Andy Price, John Coley, AJ Wright about the mowing permits. They had interviews with WDAN. We also had calls with the Ameren coordinator to coordinate for that group meeting. Been on the phone with Brandon Schweitzer about boring issues. Brian Quick, Steve Miller with the county board chairman. And Jerry Hawker, we're trying to get the nursing home into our possession so we can tear it down. We've been approached by people wanting to put in subdivisions, and that sits on 14 acres of property, and we want to be able to market that for a subdivision, which goes in line with why we need that half mile outside our village. Jennifer Bailey from the News Gazette for, an interview. I've been speaking with somebody about possible property for a fire station. Spoke with John Hart, who is the superintendent of District 118. He wanted an explanation on the TIF district because of our new TIF district being designed out by the grade school. Spoke to Paul Tappan. Paul Tappan is one of the developers that had called me about possibly putting a subdivision in here. And we've also spoken about different locations, so he's supposed to get back with me on that. The director of Amherst East Region Gas Operations wanted to thank us for pulling Comcast for permit for prioritizing public safety over the push to get do all that boring work. Spoke with Mike, what's his last name, Berman, with Curry about the fact being that our sewer plant's not completed yet, and that's moving forward. Spoke to a lady by the name of Carly Macer. She's with Labor's Builders. They built three subdivisions in Paris, working on a third one. They're looking at here to build a subdivision also, affordable housing. And here's the catch, it's not the affordable housing that we think about. It's price range from $500 a month to $1,500 a month. And they don't do Section 8 or any of that kind of stuff. Spoke to the University of Illinois professor, Paul Mugwezi. He contacted me the other day, wanted to know how we was doing on the solar project. He sent me some information. I had it passed out to the board members. One other thing I wanted to bring up that inadvertently forgot to be put on the agenda, but it will be brought up at the next meeting, so I'll explain it now, so if anybody's got questions later on, they can contact me and ask me. Catlin and Tilton both have 1.5 miles jurisdiction for zoning. Being there is Catlin taxing bodies that feel that it's perfectly fine to accept money from Earthrise into the number of $3.5 million, $25,000 for playground equipment, so on and so forth. I want this board to think about voting to give Catlin their full 1.5 mile jurisdiction, except for where our half mile land use plan is. I feel if their taxing bodies are going to take the money from Earthrise, their government should be the one to determine what happens with their solar. So that's just kind of give you a heads up, let that rattle around, and we'll bring it up probably at the next meeting.
So you're saying give up our
No,
mile?
he's saying the overlap area.
It's just the overlap area. We still have a section up in the northwest quadrant.
So we're talking about basically with overlap like this and drew a line in the middle, that portion right there on.
Correct.
Just the overlap.
Just want to clarify.
Yeah, it's just the overlap with Callan. We would still have the jurisdiction for the 1.5 miles to the northwest, which takes it up by the interstate and all that. So that'll be coming up next meeting, so if you got any questions on that or any thoughts, please let me know. So it concludes my mayor's report. It's T3.
Kylie Bott, we all know, with T3, is trying to sell his building. He thinks it's too big. It's too big for his, operation. He's wanting, the corner lot behind Danville Town to, put up a new building there, once he sells his, and I think he wants to get started on this one and then try to start selling his. He's wrote a memo here, about, it's overgrown. He wants to put an 88 by 120 by 18 pole barn. And at this point, he's only asked for the lot. Anybody have any questions?
I'm trying to look at it on the GIS, is that the one that's,
That's right.
it's got a triangle and kind of behind the,
The township building.
well, the township, it's actually more behind, east of the, warehouses that are over there, okay.
Actually went out and walked it, and there's, when you say overgrown and all that, there's dumping that's been done on that, from prior people that have done some stuff out there. There's trash, fires been started out there, like somebody's been fishing or something like that. So yeah, it's gonna take some work to get that going. My personal opinion is probably in the same aspect of that pond. It's been the retention pond that we talked about with Ryan Quick. That's overgrown. Same scenario, in my opinion. That's me.
That's been through multiple
It's been
hands,
through
they've
there.
never done nothing with it.
And you got a guy that's willing to go in there and clean it up and start paying taxes, which unlike some other people that had property that didn't pay any taxes for years. And then he's also willing to go down to the pond or the Herschel Lake and clean up some of that stuff down there, maybe partner with us. I guess somebody want to do something, my opinion is
I talked to him about
Take
the
advantage
road
of that.
too. And I think that there's a good understanding there, so.
he's done a lot for this town. I mean, he's established a business and, I mean, he's a key person.
Well, his mainline job, it's paid off Noah Kylie too, to get the
Oh, yeah.
car back on here, so.
Yeah.
Well, do you think we should put a time limit on it? Like, you have this long to develop it? I mean, that's what we've done in the past.
I don't think he'd have a problem with that. The only thing, he's wanting to sell his buildings is the
Right.
key to it, I think. But he's gonna immediately go in there and start cleaning it up.
I would just sit there and say, if you want to give him a time limit of 6 months to start the cleanup, I'll take it a while.
I mean, the cleanup alone is gonna.
Because if he starts cleaning, he's gonna do something with it.
So should we give him a letter of intent? And then in 6 months, revisit it, make sure he started, and then give him the date?
Rather than a letter of intent triggering that start, you're probably better off whether it's a formal agreements talking about the idea of transferring the property to him and under ABC. And within that context, again, I always put in there, I would recommend you do so, is any time limits can be adjusted by agreement of the parties. So if he gets in there and starts doing some work, like any other project, you're gonna end up seeing something you didn't realize, gonna extend your time limit out. And so I think you need to be careful about making sure you can adjust for what he finds and what happens out there as he's doing it.
Yeah, I would say maybe talk to him and see what kind of time frame he thinks he can get it done in before you set one.
So, you need to address like there's no road, there's no sewer, there's no water. Sewer and water both back there.
Should we,
It's right across.
should we have like a meeting, talk to him about all this?
I think,
Well, sewer and water are right there, so I don't think that's an issue. The problem, or the only, I think the issue you're gonna have is putting a road in, and I think we kinda already talked about that back there, cost wise, which is not really that big of a deal. I mean, it's in the tip.
We talked about basically gravel and silt,
Yeah.
put a couple coats of silt on for the
Yeah.
amount of traffic.
I don't think that's any.
there's property sitting back there not being used other than, kind of like more of a dumping area people are using, so better off to have it utilized and used.
Well, and right there at that stop sign, that's what you're gonna look ahead and see, so if it's cleaned up and all that, yeah.
I would just sit there and say, this is how we done it before, just basically give them the property, tell them you got a year to start, if you don't start, we're gonna reclaim it.
Or give us a reason why or something. I mean, I can see if it's
Well, I mean, if,
like
medical
a
reason
builder
or
doesn't
something
sell or
like
something like that, I can see why, but other than that, I don't think you guys can do anything.
But I think what he's seeing right now is weather's gonna switch and he's gonna start losing prime weather and start doing some work. So I think he's right
Absolutely.
about that.
Do I need a motion for,
We want a year.
An agreement?
I'd make a motion to enter agreement with the property form to deal with the 6 months to start doing the cleaning on it.
Yeah, that is summer season, so.
And then we can readdress as far as, whatever we need to at that point, but you get your letter of intent, whatever you need for them.
Well, I think we need to have Dave draw the agreement up first and then bring it back next month. Don't you, or
Yeah.
can we just,
Well, you gotta
Well,
talk to
they-
him as well, too.
Well, the thing is, what we're saying, Dave's gonna draw the agreements on what we're saying, so.
and then we'll bring it back next
We
month?
just won't turn it over to him until the agreement's drawn up.
I think if the concern is about the idea of the timing, again, these kinds of things, I think you're much better off talking about the idea, concepts of reaching agreement to extend time, change time periods based on whatever happens out there. Not necessarily a bad idea to meet with him and just, I mean, if everybody understands the nature of that lot and what he's facing out there, okay, but if not, it may be better served to say, let's meet with him, talk about what he thinks could occur in such amount of time and structure around that, so we're not putting them behind the 8 ball right out the gate.
Well, I was gonna, the elephant in the room basically is that there's other property over there that's been sitting there since I got it, and it's not even open. And we're worried about a guy that's excited about doing it. We should maybe think about the people that aren't doing anything over there.
I agree with you, Mike.
My opinion.
He's gonna do it, so, but the thing is, in the same term, I would not go on a piece of property that I know it's not mine yet, and start moving dirt.
Plus, I mean, that's what I said, the letter of intent to trigger the idea of him going to clean it up is not the way to approach this, because if I'm him, I'm not gonna do that just on a letter of intent. I'd rather have something signed up on both sides. Everybody knows exactly the scenario of what's supposed to happen in the sense of there's a time limit, we don't come to time periods we're looking at. That could be adjusted if we need to, but that's gonna formalize the idea of how this is gonna.
I'd say we just move forward. Like I said, I've known multiple people had that property, they've had it for 5 years, and
So
they do
you
nothing
do
but
the
turn it
agreement
over,
and
turn it.
just sign it?
And it's back in that corner, it's not a prime spot. I say let's move forward and get it to it.
Yeah.
I agree.
And then we'll talk to him, work out an agreement for him to sign prior to him actually taking.
Well, yeah, and again, it would need to come back to the next meeting, because it's a real property issue, you gotta have an ordinance to say you're approving this agreement or whatever, and so, yeah.
But that way there we won't have to go through another meeting, or he doesn't have to wait for another meeting before he gets up and make a move. Because you could get this drafted up in between meetings, and then we can move forward with it if he agrees with it.
I'll think through that. If you're wanting, the idea is not have to, I mean, in order to transfer real estate, you have to have an ordinance to approve that transfer. We're gonna separate the issues of the transfer from him starting to do that work. I'll think through the idea of how to structure that if you're not wanting him to come back to another meeting to the idea of that, but.
Well, like I said, I just want to make sure that after tonight, if he wants to go there and start working on it, he can start working. That type thing.
That's up to him to take that risk, I guess. I think based on the conversations, I'm sure there's not much of a risk apparently. What I'm just saying is if I'm him, I'm still a little cautious until I see something on paper. I'll do it. And I'm not his attorney, but I'm just saying is both sides would have an interest in the idea of having something in writing that's executed by everybody.
Let's just go with, the plan is to turn it over to him, get the ordinance written, we can prove it next board meeting.
Or if we have another meeting.
Or if we have something in between that, then we're good, but the thought is to turn it over to him.
And then we can talk to him, kind of get a time frame what he's looking at.
There you go.
That's your motion, Bob.
Yep. There you go.
What's me?
I second it.
Trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Sims,
Yes.
trustee Wyberg,
Yes.
trustee Sheet,
Yes.
trustee Barnes.
Yes.
Tom, do you have the information on the, sewer easement on Hodge Street? Oh man, where'd that go?
Number 24.
Oh, you know what that is.
That's,
That's college.
that's the easement across
Yeah,
T3 property.
D3 now, for some unknown reason, past administration ran our sewer right through his property. And when they did it, he was on vacation, came back, found the trench. Well, he let it go because they let him tie into it, no charge. Well, now that he wants to sell the property, we're working on trying to get it. He has decided, because I told him when he moved it, he's got to pay to get his sewer to wherever we move it to. So now he's kind of agreed to generate an easement for us. So that talking's still going on. The power went right through the middle of his property. But he said that was his fault, so he's gonna have it moved. And then somewhere along the line, we're gonna have to move a road because the village put the road right through his property. So he has property on both sides of the road. So this is just an ongoing part of that, to get that land totally back to him so he can sell it. So that's what the sewer easement is about, is he's gonna come up, we're gonna have an agreement drawn up to where he's gonna grant us an easement there, so even if he sells it, that easement will follow the sale of the property, so we always have access to that sewer. It was just informational, so that gives everybody a heads up what's going on. For board members, if you need to see a map, if you haven't already seen it, I think we got some drawings around here to kind of depict how it happened. Next on the list, Brian Carnegie, Todd Cox, CC 63 LLC. Man, you couldn't make it simpler.
Well, we're here.
CC, Ellie?
Carnegie Cox will go forward 63.
Sorry, one second. Are we not doing anything on this? then?
No, just informational.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, please don't mind those.
Go ahead.
Okay, so everybody, we're here we want to know what's going on over there across from Stir. Social media's got us pretty busy. So, I'm sure some of you have heard, Todd Cox, his wife Kelly, my fiance Sherry, we've purchased the Lee property, 140 acres. Actually, Sherry and I has been, this last August, cleaning it up. It's been quite the tour, 7 years, a lot of stuff in there. We're bringing regular shed lot down to the old Shady Acres where you see all the cleanup. They're going to double the lot. They're going to bring in some other product lines, decks, maybe playground equipment, more sheds, the animal shelters, the monitor barns, stuff like that. They've been wanting to expand, but their current location couldn't. So we got the same type development going on the south end of Ross Lane. If you've been down there, you can see more of the lake. Our goal is to take the old trailer park, 21 sites, down to about 6 to 8 sites. The campground is going to be next year expanded into the lake area. We have a lot of plans for that area. We got some other development going on the same property you're talking about with Kylie VOT, back there behind Wade Andrews. Our property joins that. There is a road platted to gain access to that. There's 16 acres on the east side of Great Creek. We have a developer interested in building houses. We're going to have to gain access to that property. We're willing to clean the road, or the village can help. We're not sure which side of there's a sewer, like you said, at the corner. There's also sewer right there at our doorstep. We're not sure if the road's platted to be on this side. We need to know the location.
Between the sewer and the water, there's a fire hydrant.
Yeah, we
One
see
side of the sewer and the road should be
right between it.
Yep.
Yeah, we did see both of that.
Is it between the lot, Kelly and Wade's?
Yes.
Okay, it's right there.
So we'd have to clean that tree line right along here to actually open the area where the road is. So Billy mentioned, we could name the road. I would put in a request, maybe Lee Ridge. That is the ridge of his property looking down over. We have another ideal thrown around on the eminent domain case we received. So I don't know if everybody's familiar, but lady in eminent domain. With the purchase of the property, it's in the contract that we got eminent domain, whatever money comes from it. I know as a legal standpoint, that lawsuit, or however you want to look at it, case was aimed at Bud. He's passed, now we're here. Bud didn't want to work with Tilton. I mean, they had conflict. We're here ready to work. It's been tossed around. There's the same area, that other property. There's a little 4.5 acre slug of land back there. No access to it really. I mean, there's pretty rough get to it, gullies and ditches. It looks nice along the lake, but you can't get to it. Our understanding is the court ordered Bud to get a current day evaluation of the property. I know you have money in escrow at what the current, or back then, what they valued it at. We can go one of two ways. We can go through the appraisal. I would rather have the cash, but the ideal was throw it around, take that 4.5 acre slug of land in exchange for the overage or whatever the current day. We've talked to a couple of appraisers. They're telling us 35% probably is what it's went up since 21. We can get it reappraised, do what you want there. But we're wanting to put the eminent domain case to bed. We're wanting to change the looks of the south end of Tilton. I mean, we're bringing the property to market.
Are you gonna have this surveyed?
Eventually, yes.
That 4.5 acres is in Herschel Park.
Do what?
Park property,
What's that mean?
you could give away 4.5 acres of your park.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not really a park. I don't know how you'd ever use
Is it there on the east side of your triangle corner?
it. If,
Is this where you're talking about?
oh yeah, there's a picture in.
It's just,
Yeah, that is ours.
yeah.
Now the next picture on. Nope. There you go. There you
No, he's got, give him
go.
his.
See where that comes down?
Is he wanting this?
There's Piley box. That's just a dead end.
So that's for traffic.
Yeah. And this is ours out in here.
That's South.
Just an ideal, I mean, we'll. Property that's not being used, property that would make our, little housing development or whatever, I mean, we could put a road back through there, I don't know, work with you guys, I mean,
Right here.
this is all, I mean, we just took possession of this 5 weeks ago. And what you've seen done, if you see what's on the other end, you said this much work, I mean, we're rebuilding the dam, bringing the lake back. I don't know if the lake's ever had an official name. We're calling it Lake Leading. So, any questions? Now you know what's going on across from Sterling.
So you said 35% increase, so I'm guessing then, are we talking $40,000 difference in
Yeah.
price from
Where
what?
our wooded acreage was just appraised, and it depends where it's at. I mean, we had some at 67,000, and some of it closer to the plot pond was 8. And that's sort of cleaned up accessible land. I mean, there's no doubt that 4 acres could be worth 15,000 an acre, but you're gonna spend $20,000 or $30,000 getting there. So, and, just some ideals, we're here to work with you, and let's move forward.
You're talking about, we'd have the access to what we were, to finish that road out to Rosslyn, that section. And then you get what money's in, being held right now.
Yeah,
And then this section back here, rather than paying more, you would get this section.
or rather, whatever the number comes out at, whether to pay 30 or 40,000 more, or whatever it comes out at, then we'll take the land, or let's get it appraised and go through the process to get the cash.
Simpler is easier.
Would the courts just let us dismiss that?
But, again, I understand the discussions for tonight, and I think there's a way to resolve that particular court case in a way, but I don't know. I mean, I appreciate the presentation, but we're certainly not gonna negotiate this deal here in the public setting. If you guys wanna submit a formal proposal to mayor on the idea of what your intention is, line out what you explained this evening, then we can kind of talk about that in conjunction with the idea of resolving that eminent domain case, so that, as you said, I think village wants to too, put that to bed and move forward. But I think we need to, I would rather see that formality of your concept and what you're after, in writing presented, and then we can kind of
What
have more
more do we
discussion
need
about it.
more than we presented today, you think?
Well, we just got this today. I mean, I appreciate you sending all the
Okay.
information, but I mean, we've had like 4 hours. And I mean, I really think we
Yeah,
know
well,
what's
we're
going
not
on.
here to get it done tonight.
Basically, I think we could,
Well, yeah, like the zoning part, we could send that in the TIF packet in, already, like we can do those parts. But the rest, I think we need to have further.
I guess that I skipped over the part that we're going to get the whole 20 acres up there on Route 1. We're getting it zone commercial retail. That's what we're putting in there with the sheds, and we have some other opportunities. We've got a lot of inquiries, just,
We can move forward with that zoning, to send it to the zoning commission. That's no problem, that whatever you got, what you got going on, and get that through the process. So if your developer has to come up with stuff, then we.
Yeah, I just talked with some more people today that, they deal with big developers all over the United States, and they're all interested in working for us. They're very interested.
So,
Well, I think Dave's right. I mean, I think we're definitely interested in putting it to bed and moving forward and all that stuff. So just, I would say, get the proposal together and move it along.
we want to change the looks of the south end. And,
I agree.
by
They've
the-
been like that for how long?
Well, by the end of the year, we're gonna raise our own
When we
building up
started.
front. And I know some of the
I
stuff
thought they
is
had
possibly
given
gonna
appraisal.
go on, so
Going
a
back.
few years from now, it's, will change.
like I said, though, we
It's gotta
can
be
move
close
forward
in
with
time,
zoning
and
part
then
of
the actual
the
transfers, it's gotta be.
Yeah.
to get the ball rolling there. Anybody, we need a motion to recommend the Georgetown Road property to zoning, to have it rezoned.
I think they would just submit an application to have that property rezoned.
Huh?
They would just submit an application to get that property rezoned. That's what starts the
Oh,
process.
we got it.
really, but yeah, okay. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what they sent in or anything else about
Hey,
it.
Dave.
Hearing what I got
Hearing
tonight.
lately what they've been going, I'm just covering my back up.
I understand.
We just got this at like 1:30, so that's
Okay,
where it's
yeah.
kinda, yeah. And I mean, we just met with them, so that's okay, but, just quick.
When you look at what we did in 5 weeks, we moved quick.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the info.
It's exciting to know that that's, a lot of stuff's gonna happen there.
Absolutely. It looks great. I think that's,
Just what you want.
Well, the other side, after October of next year, we're still dealing with some CRP property there. And we're in our last year, so we can't violate the contract for, cost us 40 or 50 grand. So, we gotta abide by that, on that north 10 acres there is mostly CRP.
We can do the TIF.
Brian, are you in a rush for that road back there or back, coming off of Sharing Drive or whatever the name of that road is back there?
Is that?
Well, we're not a big rush. I mean, we can get equipment back there if we.
I mean, you don't need an approved road, you just need something you can drive on, basically, right, for right now.
Yeah, cut the trees, we just need trees cut down and then get our equipment in there for right now, so. And we're gonna do that because we're moving over to the pond, that we're working on the dam. As soon as we get done with, the frontage there of Georgetown Road, we're gonna go back there, so we're gonna be probably another month or so before we need to get back there. I mean, we do wanna get back there and even do some surveying and see what we've been back there. It's,
Well, that'll give us time to figure out what to do with the road, because that should, if I ain't mistaken, they should bump right up to the property for T3.
you gotta be right behind what you guys are just talking about.
P3's on
So
one
it's
side.
kind of work together as a T3,
So we get that front road done a little better, and get the side road put in, and the sewer and water is already there going both directions. I think the only thing that's not on the south side is the gas. You do have gas on the north side of the road coming in, but that's no issue.
All electric.
And we're going solar anyway.
And they've already asked us about addresses, we're trying to, Tiff's already trying to figure out how one the address is.
Oh, and I guessed at that address because you told me 1617.
Yeah, it was, that's, the entrance is right between 16 and 1700. 'Cause
I just went 1651 on the odd side, so you gotta do what you want on.
Well, Stir, and that building is 1770. I don't know why, because the old Budweiser or MH equipment is 1644, I think.
City acre used to be 1771.
Good job, Doug.
How do you tell
Seriously.
that? You already said that. If we discussed that, who would know that? Your name wasn't brought up.
We were trying to figure that out yesterday.
Well, just let us know what's.
That's what happens when you work here 30 years, you have to find the address all the time.
Well, that's like that corner lot there we've got, you know, a lot of people don't know the history of Tilton. I mean, Tilton had a motel called the Starlight. And I think it was late 40s, early 50s, but over half of it burnt down. That's when they kept a couple rooms, took the office and turned it into a kitchen. So it was like a roadhouse with 2 rooms to rent. And you're around my age, I don't know if any of you remember Lang Donut Shop. There was a donut shop on that corner. That's what it would come later. And then Dick Lang went on to build the barn, big red cosmetology building in Engler. He closed the donut shop and that was a restaurant. So there's been a lot of history in that corner and been a lot of history in that land. We've been digging it up, throwing it away. Been a lot hauled out, believe me.
It's kind of exciting.
Did you, Brian, I was going through the main agenda, to write down the high points of what you're gonna bring up. Did you bring up about Reaver?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and
Yeah, that's fine. But, like I said, I was trying to find your main points, so.
and we want to keep them in Tilton. They were looking on south when, they got denied more space. And they also, didn't want to, current landlord didn't want to give any, no more leases, so. At any time, I think we could be told to leave, so that's why we're moving out.
Well, glad to have you. Your developers pay off. And I'm still waiting for a list of their connection.
You'll get it, to you. Don't worry.
Thanks, Brian.
Any other questions? We can all go to Stir and watch.
Well, we'll get you, like I said, we got to do the zoning application and all that, and then I'll get with Tom, everybody will start thinking about the road.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of conversations, I believe.
I hope so.
Have fun, that's what Todd said.
Yeah, this is fun. It's a hobby.
Have you seen across the street and all the trees, we call him Wreck-It Ralph.
All right, moving right along. Here you go. Now we're getting at this one. 217 Cardwell, 10th application.
I think you guys got most of the information already. Me, Rob Brennan, Andrew Butter, one for baseball card shop on two South Lodge. Split the property. Already been surveyed. LLC's created.
Third. B&B over sold. These gentlemen are buying the little garage part of the building where they did the T-shirts and all that kind of stuff. Am I correct?
Yeah.
They're gonna move in there. And then here in a minute, the next application bought the other, the big barn. So we're gonna get a new look over that area right now.
Yes, they're going to clean it up, and it needs it.
Yeah, this should be closing 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks.
And there might even be a possibility we could cut a deal with him to get 15th Street poked through at some point.
We're open for discussions.
So, we need to send a motion
I almost forgot about it.
Well, I mean, these are the typical, like, what we would give them. This is the thing that we got back from.
Oh, you're right.
Maria, yeah.
It's fine.
So what's the word?
Get all the way down.
They're saying that we could give
The
them.
recommendation?
Yes, thank you. So their total investment, which is tip eligible, is, let me see here, $383,500. Because of what we think you guys will bring in, they're saying anywhere from 24,000 to 73,000, and then also, we could also do annual payments of 10. You guys can see it on page 5 of the tip recommendation. See that?
Is this for both or separate?
This is just for 217 card vault, and this is also, this is not taking into account sales tax revenue that we'll be receiving because they don't have real numbers yet.
So Cardinal, tell us about, so we're talking baseball cards.
We got memorabilia. We'll have some confinement cases, folks, be super family oriented.
You guys do the auctions and all that, it's not just, I mean, it's not just a standard card shop where, you know, I mean, that's part of it, but that's not all of it.
I don't think we'll have a whole lot of online presence as far as sales.
No smoking lounge or nothing like that?
No. We won't be putting a ball in there.
Are you guys gonna be open every day?
We're looking at like Tuesday through Sunday right now, like 10 to 4.
Cool.
Something along those lines, nothing hard lined yet.
We need a motion or something?
Thoughts?
Well,
Does it go to the TIF committee? Does the TIF committee have the thought process or anything? Or?
go ahead, that's me. What do we need to do now?
We need a motion to either give them a lump sum payment or pay them annually for one of those options. So we can either give them 15%, 10%, or 15%.
I'll just do it this way, go backwards. Can I get a motion for 15% with the estimated value of $73,275?
That's 15% of their cost estimate, eligible cost.
Yes, of the eligible costs.
That's about equal to the TIF increment over the life of the TIF.
That's equal to the tip increment over, let me see here, I got the spreadsheet.
13 years.
13
Yeah.
years, yes.
I think the first thing is, do we want to do a lump sum or do we want to do a payment? Annual payment. That was the first question. Then it dials it down.
I don't know.
What do you guys want?
Lump sum.
Lump sum?
All it's gonna do is get us off, well, you know, we're gonna put more money into the front. We get it payment, we're just gonna do it. You know, we'll get it.
Yeah, I heard through the grapevine, he had a lot of work to do over there.
Oh, it's just a lot. Yeah,
The lump
we're cleaning
sum
up
will-
somebody else's mess for you guys, for sure. I mean, it's gonna definitely, you know, there's no way it's not gonna be better than this right now.
So the lump sum will benefit you guys a lot better.
Okay?
For sure, right out of the gate, you know, that's what we're.
Yeah,
we
makes
got a
sense.
lot of money into it right
Makes
up
sense to
front.
me.
The 75.
Well, like I said, with the amount of work they probably gotta do over there to get that feasible to do what they're trying to do. I mean, some of us took a walk through over there at one time, but
Oh, yeah.
I'll make a motion for the 15%, 72,275.
one time.
One time.
One time.
Second.
Trustee Wyler,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Sheets,
Yeah.
trustee Sims,
Yes.
trustee Lawrence.
Yes.
There you go.
Thanks, guys. Very good. Yeah.
Next one up, I better start scrolling through here, haven't I?
Brand new again.
Well, I'm trying to find it, before we get up here.
Here, you know, my computer.
Yeah, just a whole lot here for my telephone.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is right there today. Brand new again, TIF application.
Some pictures and information you have to pass that you looked at, just to kind of see our idea. My name is Brandon Smith, I'm the owner of Brand New Here in Finishing. Been based out of Bismarck, Illinois for the last 12 years. High-end professional finish work, we're finishing industrial coatings for cabinetry, millwork, doors, furniture repair, architectural surfaces throughout central Illinois and Indiana. We service homeowners and contractors alike. We partner with several of them throughout the region. We like Tilton because it's centrally located, and that building back there, the other part of Hodge Street, the one that's really jacked up, is about a perfect fit for what we need with, in the future, soon, the near future, is creating a showroom out of that front part that's an office right now, and then use that 4,000 square foot shop as a production facility to do our finish work.
That's nice.
And you're gonna do this
Right out the gate.
This is what they do.
So I was looking at the building.
I know, we reduced by when I first seen it.
See what it does, they refinish cabinet.
Oh, we like you already, before you even do anything.
Like you too, then.
We want you to maybe do some work for us.
Well, I, the thing of it is, I just know what's over there now, and it's a big difference.
I cannot wait to throw it all in the trash.
What we got for them, TIF?
Okay, so on the TIF for them, there's $1,056,000 TIF eligible. Moran thinks we will bring in, sorry, get there. $250,000 over the life of the TIF. And additional TIF increment, that doesn't include sales tax. Do you charge sales, I mean,
No, but right now, we're just service-based, but we're looking into product distribution and equipment distribution for other finishers across the region.
so let me ask you, would you rather have annual payments or upfront?
Maybe upfront,
Okay,
to get all that done, ready to out the gate run, yeah.
okay, so like I said, we're gonna bring in over the life of the TIF, 248,000. And the, recommendation is 5% would be 64,250, 10% would be 128,500, 15% would be 192,750.
No cap, there's no sales tax coming in, I mean, there's. You gotta keep that in mind.
Not immediately, but there will be.
Like, what are you thinking as far as product?
We're gonna do a high-end coating distribution and equipment sales, probably up and running within the next year or two.
What do you mean by equipment?
Like finishing equipment, like spray equipment.
Oh, okay. I didn't know, like cabinets or, I don't know.
Well,
No, we work with cabinet shops, I
Right.
mean, it would be nice, I mean, that's definitely on our radar to sell cabinets, but I mean, we don't wanna undercut any of the cabinet stores that are in the area, but we have good working relationships with helping the other cabinet stores.
Well, I was gonna say, if you guys if you wanted to do a smaller percent to begin with upfront, and then when he started selling, maybe we could do some sort of agreement. It's up to you guys, but I know that question was raised.
And the sad part of it is, we also know what you're trying to move into, and you're saying you're gonna turn it into this.
Yep.
Oh, I'm totally on board. It's just trying to be responsible on the other side too. I like the idea of, you know, being able to think about the sales tax once it happens. Side of things. My suggestion was 150,
150?
right in the middle between the two.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
They'll give you a good head start.
Yeah.
They'll give you a good head
Or
start.
to give you a good start to get, and I walk that building, so I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're up against.
I got people lined up ready to go.
I'd make a motion for 150,000 upfront payment with, go back and look at it potentially once the sales tax side things come around.
Well, and these, when we say upfront, we mean when you guys open, usually. I mean, actually, land acquisition is one thing. After you close, we could probably pay part of it. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, put an agreement in.
It's up to you how you get a structure and on the idea of some is reimbursement is once the costs are expended, that it's reimbursed to the amount that's decided. There's some other mechanism, you can certainly look at the idea of doing that, but it's more of not giving the money out.
I'm not trying to chime in or nothing, but if the money doesn't come up front, it's gonna be harder for everybody. I mean, he's got, I don't know if you guys have seen the message.
We know.
No, we know.
But
I
like,
mean, it's tens of thousands if you
But
need
Well, I
those.
think what our attorney was saying is the way it could also be operated is that
once you spend the money, and we
you
have
spend it, we
to
give it to you. You know what I'm saying?
It's a
You
reimbursement
get-
program, right?
Basically.
It's not you gotta have, it's a reimbursement, which means you do something to get reimbursed.
Well,
Yeah,
land
absolutely.
acquisition is one thing that's tip eligible. So after you guys buy the buildings, then we could reimburse.
That's the law, right?
I'm sure there was when we went over there looking at it.
Only question I have is, so when we turn in an invoice, how long does it take to get the bond?
Same way, if there's two
Well-
people there, it's like-
Well, cause that's only, you know, I mean, we're gonna borrow money, we're all putting our own money in it, I'm maybe speaking for him too. But the problem is that this stuff's gonna all have to churn at once, or it's gonna hold everything up, that's all I'm saying.
Well, I think
If
once,
if it's that fast or within a week, that's fine.
okay, so once you close on the building, we have to get redevelopment agreements, you guys have to sign those. So I would say within a month, we could probably reimburse you as long as you guys have closed on it and you've spent the money.
Right, okay.
Well, I mean, if you do the redevelopment agreement, it's not so much wait until they spend the money to do the redevelopment agreement, pay them a month later, is do the redevelopment agreement now. And then when they spend that money, if the turnaround time's less than a week, then, you know.
That's perfect, I like what he said.
Okay.
Now you know why he's here.
Exactly.
No, it's quick, it's always a quick turnaround.
Right, well, I mean, when we're going to the bank to borrow money, we're borrowing this much, and then, if you know what I'm saying, everything's got to flow, or it's gonna be, you can't do this.
Because you're gonna borrow, turn right around and spend it, you're gonna come in here, we're gonna give it right back to you.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's be turning and burning back there.
She's got deep pockets.
Need a second?
Cats are gonna be busy in there.
I had the motion.
I said,
150.
That's great. No, we appreciate it, thanks for both of you coming.
Trustee Wexler,
Yes.
Trustee Finley,
yes.
Trustee Sheets,
Yeah.
Trustee Sims,
Yes.
Trustee Barnes.
Yes.
See, this is a great board meeting, we got two coming, we got another one fixing to come. The developer gonna bring a whole lot more, which is gonna go with you guys.
Well, South End is all taken care
I thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
Thank
you.
Okay. Did you wanna read that?
This for Mike,
Yeah, because he should stay out of the whole conversation. Or just turn that around.
Yeah, there you
Item 28, 1725, 1729, South Washington Sewer and Water. This is basically a quote from Jeremy Spessard Plumbing and Heating. It was to Mike Weinberg. For everybody that doesn't know what's going on, down at 1725, 1729 Washington Street, Mike has those little homes. And he's wanting to expand. So he's wanting to go to the south with more units. The scope is the installation of a 6-inch Schedule 40 PVC sewer main to serve 8 single-family units along with 8 water services from a meter well to each unit. So this is one of the things I was talking to Andy about. So instead of running a main around and creating a loop, he's gonna come from, and set 8 meters in the right of way, and then his contractor will run the line all the way back. And here it goes. The sewer main includes excavation, clean outs, branch fittings to each unit, saddle tie-ins at street, and appropriate bedding. Water service includes excavation, bedding, tie-in at the meter, a 1-inch CTS poly pipe to the closest 6 units, and 1 1/4-inch CTS poly pipe to units 7 and 8, footer sleeves and valves at each unit. Site is said to be clear of known obstruction. Dirt will be left on site for use around dwellings. Excavation of the sewer tie-in point at the street does not include removal of the street surface or restoration if necessary. And then it gives the terms, 50% up front and remaining total at completion. Total labor and materials, $39,197.74. Dave. No, keep going. Mike Weinberger, what he's proposing is an 8-unit ADA or tiny home project where I just at 1729 South Washington Street, next to the Walnut Creek Cottages. First off, he would like to thank everyone for the rezoning of the property, because we rezoned it, allowing the growth of residents in the village. We would be adding anywhere from 8 to 16 new residents to our town, which is much needed in the area. During previous research, a resident would typically generate about $1,400 per year in sales tax revenue. The infrastructure cost to put in the water line, sewer, and reinforce the driveway with millings is estimated at just under $100,000. Mike is making a request of the village to help support this project by assisting with the water and sewer installation, which is estimated to be at $40,000. He's asking the board to please consider the assistance requested so this project can move forward and add homes for the residents. We quit moving that. And add homes to the residents.
Read it too.
My eyes is. And homes to the residents of the village. Thank you. Mike Weidenberger, ADU project, 1729 South Washington Street, Tilton, Illinois. Mike has it because he's on board. He surely cannot have any conversation on this.
Okay, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would be cautious, and clearly it's a conflict of interest on this. And so what I would indicate is some conflicts can't be cured by just recusal from discussion and vote. Some rise to the level of as a choice between taking the benefit and resigning the position as the elected official, or remaining elected official and not taking the money. So yeah, I don't want to speak off the top of my head because I deal with certain conflicts of interest, questions that have been posed to me, which I know I've done them enough that I know the answer to that. This one though, is I wouldn't want to talk off the top of my head about the idea of which one this fits in and then end up being wrong. If I say, well, just he could recuse himself from discussion and vote, all of a sudden it comes out as you can't do that. I mean, it's generally the other way, is I would rather have that answer first before you have the decision. I'm assuming this may not be necessarily an immediate need, you got to have it tomorrow kind of thing. To allow me to kind of do that research and prepare a memo that I can submit. That way, you know for sure one way or the other is whether this is possible to work and you know, maintain your position just under recusal only. But I'd rather you know that, or rather the board know that before just ultimately, you know, approving the idea of providing the money for the project.
I just wanted to ask because it's not in the TIF district. So we don't normally give people who are not TIF districts grants. I mean, I wish we had more money. But can you look into that too?
Yeah, I can, you know, that may be more of for you and the mayor to discuss the background on that. I mean, if it's not typical, it's outside the TIF and there are no funding mechanisms outside of TIF money that you provide, and that's not just for Trustee Weidenberg, just for anybody in general, and that's never been done. You know, that's probably more of, you're gonna know that better than I would in terms of whether you can or can't. If you're asking me, can you or can't you, I think the answer is yes, but then you have to decide what that means going forward, which is, where's that money coming from and where does it stop? That's the potential issue you face. And you got other people coming here and asking, you give them one, not the other. The question's gonna be is, why are you giving it to him and not me?
This has to come out of the general fund, right?
Yes.
My fear is you're gonna be setting a precedent for the future. Big time.
Well, why don't we get a memo from Dave and see what he says, don't you think? See what he says first?
You what?
Get a memo from Dave,
Yeah.
so he can give us, and like, advice, you know what I mean? Like, I don't wanna do something we're not supposed to do.
Yeah, because I think that's probably the first question to answer is, if it's possible under the mechanism of just recusal from discussion and vote. Now you can ask the second question, which is, because you know this is gonna come from general fund or some other mechanism outside of TIF, is the village willing to step into that arena, you know, maybe create a line item in the budget to provide funds for certain projects that may be beneficial to the village, and you'll have to walk through that process of establishing parameters to put around that kind of concept. I do think the first question has to be answered first of, you know, what is it possible for Trustee Weidenberg to do for possibility of receiving money?
Is any of the sewer gonna be like on our right of ways or anything?
No public.
Well, it won't be public, but it might be in the right of way.
Well, I guess, yeah.
That's what I mean, yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of empty properties that you tore down houses, you know, you probably need to develop some kind of redevelopment policy to do the infill, called infill development,
Yeah,
and, that wouldn't be out of line, I don't think.
No.
You know, you tore down the light.
Right.
And now you want those areas to, called infill, but it's in your existing community.
right.
You know, a lot of people probably need sewer connections and water connections, and wouldn't be just something for Mike, it'd be the general policy for the village.
Gotcha.
For, you know, adding maybe multiple houses or, you know, we're not talking about remodeling people's homes, we're talking about.
New
This would help.
residences.
This would help get new builds on these empty lots.
It's, yeah, it'd be an infill development, policy of some sort that would apply to all these lots you've been tearing down or multiple lots.
So instead of like
Because since they're not in the TIF,
it's being as like, we're giving Mike money, we're just gonna run sewer lines ourselves. Right?
We don't normally do that.
Well, I know that, but we don't normally give people rock on their driveways either.
Yes, we do.
Well,
Well, I mean, but still, what's the difference?
well, with Tom's suggestion.
I know.
I mean, it's a lot of money, but
Well,
still.
with Tom's suggestion, Mike's more than welcome to pull this. We can address what, because I thought that all along. People need an incentive to be able to come in and fill all these empty lots we got. So we generate this ordinance and create this incentive that everybody can use, including Mike.
Well, it's a good point with that, because I look at the corner lot there by the brick deal. More likely a person's not gonna buy that, put an Allen Shepherd house there. However, someone might buy it and put 4 tiny homes, because that's kind of the new wave of the future. So with you saying that, it makes perfect sense on some of that, a way to get some other development.
And it also doesn't, in your situation, because you're a board member, it also doesn't single you out.
Yeah, that's the last thing I want.
You just become part of the.
I think you got a need to, for something like that, it might be an ordinance,
Well, what do we, I was gonna say, I can echo Tom's comments is most municipalities face this problem, which is how do you get infill? And it is kind of a money question because you gotta figure out, are you gonna create it? Where's your money gonna come from to put in that line item to fund it? How much are you gonna give per project, that kind of thing, to frame it out. And maybe that's a separate issue from the memo I need to do, at least for this particular moment, is whether or not there's a general need for the community to be able to kind of set that up. But you'd have to probably, again, it would be by ordinance only because of the budget is established by ordinance, which is amend it to start talking about a particular line item for a particular purpose, and its funding mechanism and the parameters for whatever that program is going to look like.
Well, we can pull it today. We can pull it today. We're not doing
I don't
anything
think
today.
we're not gonna pull it.
You don't even talk about pulling it. It's more like it was technically kind of, it could be established as a discussion item anyway. So it's not necessarily pulling it. I've talked about it. We know what we kind of need to do as next steps, and we can do those and then bring it back later if, yeah.
Can we do this one? Or just Tom's?
Yeah, go ahead, Marty.
Lots 3 and 4 in State Street Edition, there's, when we put, the bridge in, we took out the double roads, as you can see on this drawing. Yeah, they can right there. Well, there used to be a double road, I'm sorry. No, I'm talking about, I'm sorry. Anyway, there are 2 empty lots that we have to mow all the time behind this house on the corner of 14th and Atwood. The guy who owns that house there approached us and wants to know if we would give him the lots, with the understanding that he could never build anything there permanent, a permanent structure. So he could still put a fence up, but he cannot build anything permanent. I called the neighbor on the other side. They were not interested in obtaining the lot because there's 2 lots. And the only thing he's ever gonna be able to put here is a fence. And this will help him extend his property a little bit because when they went through the front, he doesn't own about 44 feet of his front yard. And the guy who lived there before didn't really want to work with us. Now, I had another neighbor on the other side, who lives on Brentwood. He called and was kind of upset because he said he wanted those lots 20 years ago. And past administration told him he should pay for them, so he feels this guy should pay for them. Well, I naturally told him not everything in life was fair because he told me it wasn't fair. But I just told him that I promised I would bring it up.
Well, the thing of it is, it's a different administration. We're getting tired of paying people to have to mow.
Right.
And this guy will benefit from these other than that other guy. I mean, that makes sense.
We'll be out on.
So my recommendation, there's gonna be easements kept for any kind of bridge work or overpass work and all that other stuff. So my recommendation, so we don't have to maintain them, is get rid of them.
They're right next to the bridge. I mean, we only have them so that we can have maintenance, and with us just letting him use them as empty land, and we keep those easements, we can get in there at any point to work on the bridge.
Gotta be really careful on the language, because if you got a full crane in there, I don't know that we want to be responsible for fixing fences and,
Okay.
landscape.
You'd have to think, yeah, you'd have to think about structuring the fence on the idea of allowing, and again, it may be built around, depending on the size of the equipment is, fence is not really that much different than a permanent structure because it's gonna be there, it's gonna be there permanently. And if you gotta get into it, you're gonna have to tear down sections of fence to get in there unless you provide some kind of large gate or something to allow the access in there, but it's workable. I'm just saying, he's not wrong.
What type of room do we have from the other houses though?
It's come up here a couple times.
How much distance do we have between the other houses that are existing to work on the bridge?
We're at,
That brick one?
To the east and west of them.
that brick house, on Brentwood, that we tried to buy it and it wouldn't sell it, so.
Right, but I mean, how much room do we got there
I mean, between the house and.
between all the houses that run along that bridge?
I think he's saying
There's only
if
2.
we had to work on them, right?
Yeah, cause
Yeah.
there's places right, in other houses, you're not getting a crane in there anyways if you have to work on the bridge, that's what I'm just saying.
Well, I guess that's your point, is that we have it now, so you could get a grade in. Is that what
We
you're
got
saying?
I think we still got all the lots on the north side, don't we? No?
Yeah, we just gave, the people the house, but we did not give them those other lots,
Don't give away any.
further west.
You don't have to, you need those lots so you can maintain that bridge, because someday, like all bridges, gonna need some major repair and, you know, not during our lifetime probably, but, you know,
There's gotta be some kind of setback from that bridge.
those bridge, I mean, the construction with those walls, I mean, that's complicated, so if anything has to be done, it could get messy.
Yeah.
So, if anyone ever builds on the north side of the bridge, you need to take that into account, what you know about there. I wouldn't,
I don't think we've ever done anything with those lots. I think we still own them all.
okay,
Mhm.
that'd be good.
I'm looking.
Just be careful on that, along that bridge. When we bought those houses, built the bridge,
We don't know that.
and now we gotta make sure that we keep the ability to maintain that bridge, you know, at any point in the future.
We don't know
We just need to come up with an easement.
But I think those two lots, you know, I think with a firm easement on top, there's no misunderstanding that, you know.
You're gonna go in here and build nothing, so.
Yeah.
that. We don't know, there's lots on the other side. We don't know.
We own those.
Mhm.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we tore down quite a few houses there to build that bridge.
You said no permanent
Well,
fixtures,
that's-
A fence isn't permanent. He said if we needed to get in there, all you would have to do is take
what
off
if they
the post.
decide to put, like, one
Okay.
shed or barn?
He can't.
Looks like.
That's not a permanent fixture, that's temporary.
Well, we'd have to move it.
Well,
He'd have to move it. I mean, I don't know.
You have to get one from Brian that he can move around.
I think you should say no structures whatsoever, temporary or
What about fence?
Fence is fine.
fences. Nothing.
Okay, so fence only, no other structure.
But Vince, but with the understanding if we have to have work done, we're not responsible for.
Dave,
It won't have the easement on it.
can we have this drawn up as an agreement, so it's a, we're understanding, because in case he ever sells or whatever, the agreement
So
stays.
this is GLA's, these are properties we're talking about.
So why don't we
When I
let,
click on it.
why don't we let Dave draw up the agreement to what we need with Tom's input and then. Because Dave, he knows what we're looking at right now, so just let him draw up the agreement, as a guy, we'll vote on it, but the understanding the agreement has to be signed, if he doesn't want to sign the agreement, we retain possession.
So not want to focus on that then.
What's next to, water?
Yeah.
Does everybody want to make a motion
Zero,
to?
three, four,
Motion to make it.
So make what?
Yeah.
Make a motion to the property with the understanding that Dave will at the day, the guy will have to sign the agreement as to what can and cannot be done with that property.
And that goes to that house, he may never, you know, he may sell it or something.
No,
It's not gotta be with the property.
Well, there's gonna be a permanent easement, I think, isn't there, Dave?
Yeah.
Why don't we get it drawn up and then present it to the guy and he may say, no, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Or if he says, okay, then we'll agree to it or something. I mean, does that make sense?
Fine, yeah.
I
I mean,
He may
we've
not
already
even
talked
agree.
to him, and we told him, you can't ever put anything on this except probably a fence.
Well, we need something more solid.
Playground stuff or whatever. No permanent structure, I don't know whether they're movable. Like, we built the force main along the railroad right away here recently, there's just movable shed, we just pulled it out of the way. So I don't know, if it's on skids or something, it could be just slid out of the way, I don't think that would be a big issue, but nothing permanent. Like, you know, on a foundation or on a concrete slab.
Excuse me.
You know, movable buildings would be, movable sheds would be. Wouldn't be a problem.
And we go back, just have Dave write something up and then go. It'd be a little easier to understand.
Well, because the last sale, whoever's purchased, needs to understand that something, we need to get in and work on that fence, on that overpass, your fence comes out.
Yeah.
If anything is in the way, it gets moved.
Yeah.
So, just give me some more, good.
Taking all
They're
this in,
difficult, aren't they?
Yeah,
you took the mental notes, Dave.
so when Dave,
All up here,
so,
buddy.
our attorney gets this person out, then we'll bring, we'll show, let the gentleman read it, if he wants to continue forward, then we'll bring it back to the board. Next, Danville Township intergovernmental agreement for mosquito abatement. Need a motion. What's it gonna cost? I know.
2,500.
2,500.
Go to Skeeter.
Every year, they've never raised it for us.
They'll skip your house, you won't pay for it.
Trustee Sheets. Trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Finley.
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Sims.
Yes.
Trustee Barnes.
Yes.
Okay, the next one.
That one we
Oh.
reviewed.
If feels somebody out here wants to say something, who wants to speak, is anybody out here wanting to speak? Oh, hey.
So I
Could you give your
Hold on
name?
just a
Mark
second.
Terrell.
And you have 3 minutes, okay?
Okay.
She's gonna start the timer, hold on.
Mark Terrell. I'm Terrell Trustee. I live on Mary Clark Road. I've lived down there for 15, 17 years, something like that. I've lived down there forever. I built a house on Mary Clark Road 4 years ago, but I lived in Great Creek all the years. We have ran up and down Ross Lane all these years with trucks. Nobody's ever said anything until 2 years ago. One of my guys was stopped. He was told that the truck was too heavy to run down the road. It was empty. We don't run loaded down the road. It's always empty. And he said, next time I catch the truck here, I'm gonna have it towed. So the truck's too heavy to run down the road, but now we're gonna add a tow truck to it. That all went the rest. I came up here, I believe I talked to, are you the chief?
Yes, sir.
I believe I talked to him. It all went the rest, nobody bothered us, nothing. 2 days ago, the same cop follows the truck all the way down Ross Lane, turns on the Route 1, pulls him over in front of Toyota. Gets up there and he said, oh, I thought you worked for Mark Terrell. Why my name was brought into it, it wasn't even my truck. He said, I'm gonna start writing tickets for every truck I see on this road. Cause they're not, they can't cross that bridge.
Who's that?
So, Josh Brown. So, those Ameren trucks that run up and down that road every day, all day long, them big boom trucks are way heavier than even my truck and an empty trailer. I guarantee you, if you put axle weight down for one of them big boom trucks, fully loaded with all them boxes on it, and you weigh the tandems on that truck, there ain't a tandem on my truck and trailer that weighs more than that truck does.
What's it weigh?
30,000, 32,000 empty
And the
total weight,
the weight limit's 6 ton.
but
There's no but, because you can't go beyond the posted limit on that bridge, because that bridge is,
so that bridge,
it doesn't really.
for a year and a half, like 14th Street was tore out.
It doesn't matter, it's
It
posted.
does matter.
It does not matter, because the engineer for the county did the evaluation on the bridge, and she said it's gotta be posted like this, and that's it.
So for a year and a half, like 14th Street was tore out and all the trash trucks ran that route. That was the route they were given. Loaded 80,000 pound trash trucks, 40 ton. Cross that bridge every day, all day long.
Doesn't matter.
There's like 6 trucker companies down that road.
It doesn't matter.
It's not just on.
How does it not matter if they did it for a year and a
Why
half?
do you think they post a bridge?
That sign was there the whole time.
Why do you think they post? a
So
bridge?
what we were told,
Why do you think they post a bridge? Because that's.
so what I was told by
that's their
Danville
load
Township
rating
was
for
the
bridge.
reason why that was posted there. They put that sign there in hopes that all them trucks that are
No,
supposed to
that's
go.
not true.
Have you thought of going to the county and trying to get a permit? Because
Is
they're
it-
the ones who made.
But they put up a sign that says no permitted loads across the bridge.
I'm going with the structural engineer, so.
So who's stopping Ameren from going across it if they're gonna pull my trucks over, all the trash trucks that run down?
Let
What can
me
we
say
do?
something, okay? Number one, you're misinformed. I was there at the traffic stop when he talked to that truck driver, okay? We had the complaint come through the village administrator to us this week, all right? And we brought up, Josh Brown included, not picking on you, that we were gonna start stopping and telling people, hey, this needs to stop, especially because our engineer stated that the limit was 6 tons, there's issues with the bridge. So there is a truck route, all you gotta do is go down to 14th Street and access it the right way.
But then there's a sign.
Hang
that
on a
says
minute, let me
8 ton.
finish, sir. All right, your time's already up anyway.
Okay.
All right? So, we're currently making a list of the situation with you guys, with Ameren, everybody that's down in that area, to make it fair and let everybody be notified that you need to take the other route. Okay? That's not in place yet. You haven't been towed, you haven't been cited.
Why you gotta get loud, Phil?
He did the same thing last time I tried to talk about it.
There's no reason for that.
Here, the whole thing is, he's in here, he doesn't like Josh Brown. That's why
No,
he's
it's
here
the other way
talking
around.
about it.
Josh don't like me. I don't care about Josh. I can care less.
Well, you obviously made that the point to begin it. But the whole point is, it
It's
hasn't
like
started
sitting around
yet,
discussing with
there's
me,
been a
that's why.
complaint. And so, yes, we're looking into that and making sure everybody's notified before any enforcement action is taken. You can ask Tiffany that we discussed this, and the fair way to do it is if this is what they wanted, then the enforcement action to be taken. But the whole point comes down to is, go to 14th Street where you're supposed to, knock down Ross Lane.
So then my question is, if you're saying it's an engineer thing with the weight limit, why are you telling me to go down a road that has an 8-ton weight limit sign on it? That's 16 there. Soon as you turn, and you turn by cause I live on Red Clark Road, so as soon as you turn off of 14th Street, you start heading south. All them trash trucks turn and go east to the landfill. You go straight, there's an 8-ton weight limit sign right there. And that's the way they're telling us we have to go.
That's a township road, so.
I mean, we're looking at about $500,000 in repairs on that bridge.
So,
You know, it's not personal.
who's responsible for that? Is it the county, the responsibilities of our responsibility, and the county sets the weight limit?
It's the county, we work with the county, because they got other bridges in their county, they do, bridge inspections on, so they do them for the village.
So, let's say, replacement, who's the responsible party?
Well,
County?
I don't know if you recall, maybe 2 years ago, we sat down with the county, and they said that they were gonna include that they're gonna combine that bridge with another bridge they're redoing, and at that time, they were thinking 400,000, that's been 2-3 years ago, so that's probably.
So I need to reach out to him again, basically, find out what's what.
Yeah.
Cause let's be honest, he's got a point. Ameren built this big laydown yard down there. So,
Well, we were told.
not saying anybody's wrong here, but it appears that I'll reach out to the county and see what we can't do to shake them up a little bit or something.
Or if they fix that bridge, are they going to increase the weight limit? Do you think?
Well, we can set up a meeting, talk to them, we can talk to them about G Street Bridge too.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I do not have a problem with Josh Brown. When he was a cop in West Philly Screwbook, I have no idea why. I don't bother anybody.
Well,
These guys down here, they don't bother nobody.
Here, what I'm saying to you is,
Chief, we're getting off subject here, it has to do with him and the bridge. If there's a personal thing with an officer, whatever.
I don't have a personal
No, I'm just saying, please follow.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
We'll take it through things. Right now, I will get with our engineer, get with the county, sit down and go, hey, we need to do something because we have a laydown yard down there for Ameren, and you guys do have this bridge posted. So, because of the utility, you need to get something done with this bridge.
I appreciate it.
You're
Like I
welcome.
said, I don't have a problem with nobody. I just I'm just doing the job. I don't bother anybody. I just go down there, go home, go leave.
And like Tom said, that part on, that's township posting that, why we, you'd have to talk to AJ about that, so maybe AJ.
I did talk to AJ. I've talked to AJ for years, but I used to live in Great Creek, so I ran all those roads. So I talked to AJ. I called him earlier today.
We'll see what we can do to resolve that situation.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, moving right along. Can you make a note of that, Tom? Make sure we get with the county and try to figure out something, because I gotta agree with him, I mean, them ambulance trucks are.
Well, probably none of them, and they all should be notified.
well, and that's what I was talking with Tiffany last week.
Yeah.
This is a bigger picture than just, Ameren's using that, we got a bigger problem here that we'll get addressed.
Well, Ameren didn't think about it, when they put a lay down here down there.
Put it this way, if something happens on that bridge, we're not enforcing, then
Oh.
it's posted, then we got problems.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing, I'm just sitting there saying, we need to get with the county and explain the situation, especially there, and try to get that resolved.
Those ambulance trucks are carrying a lot more accident weight than his empty semis out here.
Okay, that, half the people here was here for this start of all this stuff, so.
You can't just hold the sudden.
Ordinance 2026-0521C, an ordinance amending the ordinance number, ordinance 2025-0918A to extend the temporary moratorium on the commercial solar development. And the reason for this is because to get our ordinance in place, we have to go through the zoning and go through all the zoning laws, which requires 15-day notice, so forth. In speaking with our attorney, his recommendation is this should all be able to be accomplished within 30 days. So now it's up for discussion. Members?
So what if it ain't in 30 days?
Pardon?
What if it ain't in 30 days? What if we need a little bit more? What I'm saying is, wouldn't it be better to have more time and not need it than need it and not have it?
The ordinance is ready to be voted on. Because anything that happens with that ordinance from this point on is going to be to lessen the restrictions for that.
Well, not necessarily, because the battery storage isn't in there, isn't addressed. And then we really haven't, I mean, we spoke about it in ordinance, but we haven't really talked about it as a board.
Well, I talked to somebody yesterday, not solar, I talked to somebody yesterday, this is a new family, these batteries, so it's a totally different thing because of the batteries that are being done now are not even associated with solar. They pull energy from like these peaker plants and pull energy from the grid and store it. And then when they need peak power, they need batteries to kick in. So I think we really need an ordinance covering batteries as a whole, because now they've got different systems besides what is attached to solar. Because it's the same battery, but I think we need to broaden it to where it's not just solar, but it's a battery ordinance protecting us from, and these are, it was you wanted, right?
Yes, Q cell. And basically, it's a group of investors put in a 13,000 square foot battery pack on a piece of property. They've got, just like playing the market, the grid's overloaded at night, the energy's cheap, they buy it. When it's needed during the day and everything's high, they sell it. And it's come out of California, Illinois next on the list, so here we are. We've looked into it, we're sending everybody letters. Guarantee, buy an option on the land for 4 years. And then so much money on, they claim a 20-year contract, but they have 3 5-year renewals on it. So anybody puts one on their property, you're signing a 35-year contract. It's called Q cells, look into it, check it out.
Which goes back to Vanessa's point, I feel like maybe not 90 days is needed, but maybe a 60-day thing where we have a little bit of time to actually get with solar, wind, battery, somebody, attorney that focuses in this to give us those answers instead of worrying about the internet or something like that. I had no idea about it.
No, the one thing I was getting at was that our ordinance is in a position to be voted on. And it complements the land use plan out there to keep, as far as our residents, give them a half a mile buffer with that. And that, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but the ordinance is actually the law that pushes that half mile. So until that's in place, that half mile is not a law. It's just an idea. So as far as our residents, the ordinance is the best thing for them because it will push that out a half a mile for our planning area. Now, this is the understanding I had when I discussed this with Dave, our attorney. So our ordinance, all the other parts of our ordinance, like the setbacks and all that, would be generated for everything outside that half mile. which now when we vote on it, if everybody agrees to give Catlin their whole district except our half mile, is that corner up in the northwest corner that they're wanting. So the rest of the ordinance would cover that, but that ordinance there would specifically make that half mile the law. That's what, right? That's what I was looking at. So for our residents, that ordinance creates the law that there's no utility solar within a half mile of any of our residents. That's why I was wanting to get it passed.
I don't think you can do
And
that.
then talk with Mr.
But what about
Webber.
everything else that's in it? Because I haven't really, have you seen it since it's been revised by, I haven't.
Well, they sent out what, the last revision, or I don't remember what date it was.
Yeah, it's been up for a couple of weeks.
The full thing?
Yeah. I think we had, did you send it out?
That's not that bad.
I just think that given,
That's the one you sent.
I don't know the whole particular solar thing with the battery deal and all that.
I still say that, we do need some, but I think it needs to be separate to cover.
And I'm not disagreeing, but I'm at that point where, having somebody that can tell me exactly what it means and the whole bit, because I'm not the professional. I'm just trying to make a decision on something that I don't know anything about. So if I had the time to do that, and if it's, my proposal was 60 days. We could raise it or release it sooner than that if we get our information and everything. I don't care about all that. This isn't a stall tactic. It's not anything like that. It's, we have to put an ordinance in play at one point in time, but I feel like we ran this race and now all of a sudden we're trying to sprint here at the end when we just need to finish the race.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're doing the comprehensive zoning plan. We've got the land use designated for that half mile. As far as our residents, the people of Tilton, this ordinance will turn that into law. So the furthest house out here on Catlin Tilton Road is our resident, they will not have to worry about a utility solar field for a half mile.
I understand that. I think, I do understand that, and I think it's great. But I also there's some other things that I don't think we have total, understanding on that may or may not be done in 30 days.
Like what? Like, what do you think?
Like I just said, I don't know about batteries.
Well, I think the mayor's saying let's do batteries as a separate.
But if it's part of the solar and we go through,
Well, it's not part of solar currently, because we've seen their proposal.
I understand there's where your key is. It's not part of their deal currently.
Well, it would be part of their deal. I mean, their proposal is to build a solar project, not a battery storage facility. That's a totally different animal.
Which I understand, but there's other places that have done that and they've added it in the past. And if we don't have that in place,
The nice thing about, passing an ordinance, it can always be updated, changed, or revised.
well, then why rush through it and pass the ordinance if we don't? And that's the whole point of going through the whole thing at the beginning of the moratorium is to finish it.
Well, again, I'll just, there's a couple of things going on, but what I'll comment about the battery issue is this. I come back to it in many emails I've sent about the idea is that you're creating, at least for utility solar, the half mile buffer zone, if you will, right? And so anything that they're gonna do is gonna end up being at least a half a mile away, if not further. When you issue the special use permit, it's geared toward the project that's submitted. If they submit the project with a battery in it, then maybe that's kind of an issue. The project that they've been talked about now doesn't include one. But it doesn't mean that there isn't some other addition that could be made when the special use permit is issued in terms of any other regulations that may pertain if they change the nature of it. If a special use permit is issued for the project as it sits and they try and put the battery on there, it's a violation of the special use permit because it's geared toward the project that's submitted. They can't just go willy-nilly and do other things beyond what the project was that they submitted.
Could you just blanket out, just not allow?
A battery?
Yeah, battery.
Battery storage.
I mean, that.
I want to think it through, and I'm always cautious about the idea of, zoning things completely out of existence, because I do think that creates an issue, and that's irrespective of solar, and I understand the debate over solar, but over years, I think the law has become more clear about the idea of trying to zone things out of existence, and I think it causes trouble for the municipality, and so you blanket deny the idea of it, not necessarily, but it may come with its own regulations in terms of batteries too, and I'm not an expert. I don't think you're going to get an attorney expert to talk to you about a battery, the idea of what the ins and outs are on that. It's just some other development that would occur that may need its own regulations, as the mayor suggested, have a standalone issue on the idea of, these kind of batteries things. But
So you're saying a solar wind battery data center attorney is not going to give us any type of guidance on how to write an ordinance to.
What I would suggest to you is that an attorney of that nature is not a engineer or a technology related individual to tell you the ins and outs of the batteries, what they do or don't do, and what the danger is or isn't. The concept of dealing with batteries is a separate issue on the idea of what do you want to do with them. Standalone ordinance regulating them, or, again, this is up to the board, and I'm not speaking out of turn, is if there's some desire for the full board to say, we want something related to the idea of whether a battery can be included in the utility solar project at all or not is up for discussion, I guess.
Isn't there something coming up in the laws that said you can't ban batteries?
Yeah, Pritzker signed it last month.
Yeah.
So it's something else needs to be thought about. Like this Q-Cell company, they work hand in hand. It's called Summit Ridge Energy out of California. And if you look at what happened out there, they went around and built all these solar fields. Well, what come next? Now, these guys work hand in hand. The battery people moved in and said, we need to use that power when you're not using it. So, and I think what Pritzker and these guys, I ain't read it personally, but what I heard they signed was 46 decibels at the fence line, 300 feet from any houses or structure.
Yeah.
They have to be, for them to make it profitable, they have to be within so many feet of a 3-phase power line. So there's a lot to be addressed in this, and there's got to be a reason why they're following them. It's California, Democrat, Illinois, Democrat. Lady back here, you probably look into it. Pritzker's probably got money in Summit Ridge. So.
Well, and that's sort of my question, and I don't have those answers. I'm not claiming to have those answers, but, I think it takes time.
You need to look.
I think it takes time to look at it.
Do your risk assessment on.
Well, I'm not arguing that. I said or said, we could automatically turn right around and do an ordinance on batteries. What I was getting at is right now, we have an ordinance that if we put in place, sets that land use in law and not just a dream. I would be more than happy, Mike, to automatically dive right in tomorrow and start working on the battery work. But I'm just saying, we need to get that ordinance passed to set that half-mile boundary in the law. That's with my understanding of what Dave was saying. That ordinance generates that and turns that into law. We can turn right around and do a battery ordinance right on top of it.
Is it easier to change it?
Utilities to deploy 3,000 megawatts of grid-scale battery storage capacity by 2030. That's a law. That's a mandate by the state.
Is it to have, like, where we have this ordinance now? If there's something we want to change on it, to change now or to amend it after it's passed?
So I'm not clear on what you're asking. I mean,
so we find something we want to change in this ordinance. So if we go to change something in the ordinance, does it have to go all through the process again? Or is it easier, harder to wait, pass it, and then if we want to then change something in it to amend it?
it does depend on timing. I mean, if you pass this and decide that you want to make a change to it, it's going to have to go through that process again, the same process that you're talking about now. If you do it within the context of the idea prior to final approval, then it's part and parcel of whatever the final version gets adopted. If Planning Commission makes a recommendation on the current proposal and sends it on, and then you try and amend it after that, yeah, I'd want to look into the idea of what that triggers is. Can you do that, or does that have to go plan commission back again? And so that's the problem with the debate on this, and I'm not going to dive into it. I've already said, as I understand, everybody's probably thought process about solar in general. The fact is, you start doing that, and it has to go back to the plan commission, you're going to be amending this moratorium multiple times, and that's not a good idea.
Well, let me ask you a question, Dave. Say, Tiffany just said something here just a second ago. Say you have a section in an ordinance to fight something, but it's a mandate from the state that you can't stop it. Does that void the whole ordinance to correct that one issue?
I'm honestly not sure what you're talking about.
Say we have batteries in there, and batteries are a mandate that nobody can stop, and we have an ordinance that says batteries, does that?
You come back to the debate between what does the law actually say? Unless there's specific language that preempts home rule authority, then for us, it's a non-issue, it's a non-starter. If it does have a specific language in there prohibiting even home rule units from doing anything different than what's in that law, then that's when you have a problem.
Well, no, but what I'm just saying though, let's say it would state home rule. We have an ordinance that has batteries involved in it, restricting batteries or denying batteries, and it's a mandate. And the state says, no, you will have batteries. Does that mess up the whole ordinance or just that?
That'll just be that part of it, yeah.
I think, Bill, what you're asking here, you put your disclaimer at the very end of your ordinance, it says, if one thing, I think that's right, Dave, right? When you put a disclaimer at the end of your ordinance, it says if one portion of this becomes not applicable, then it doesn't set everything else.
Typically in contracts and agreements, that language is in there. If a court decides one paragraph in that contract is no longer valid, the rest of it is. For an ordinance, I don't necessarily put that language in there, and you don't necessarily see it in an ordinance form. But the result is exactly what we're talking about. You put it in contracts and agreements because it's outside the idea of your legislative action and acting the ordinance that may be affected by that. But then it comes down to is what did they do and what effect does it have on what you have in place?
I think that argument would go this the opposite and say, well, because we were home rule, we could put that in there. I don't know, you know, it's just.
But there's nothing to stop the state, the Democrats are coming back going, hey, we're gonna include home rule on this.
I get it. You can argue the other side of it too, because nobody knows until you actually take the time to dive into that. That's what my point to it.
And then nobody knows what's gonna happen in November either.
So can I ask one question here just for clarification? When you're saying that like your setback here, your half-mile setback,
Setbacks.
or not setback, no, I'm sorry, not setback, no, I agree. But you're half mile outside of your corporate limit, right? And you're restricting there, or that there's where you're.
It's a land use plan.
Right.
If we pass this ordinance, that land use plan becomes law. That land use plan denies utility solar.
Okay, but you can't do that, can you? Dave? That would be considered a prohibit or ban. Even though it's under land use.
Most people point to that state law that says that you cannot enact an ordinance that prohibits or has the effect of prohibiting solar. Right? That does not have home rule preemption language in it.
Okay.
Which means we are free.
That's what I want to know, if that's because of the home rule advantage, that, for the home rule, okay.
And the thing of it is, I've talked to Dave about this quite often, but the fear of it is just like, remember when this all started, we had a meeting out at Catlin. Everybody knew about the county law, and I made the comment. Then they're gonna go after municipalities. Now we got this law. Once they figure out that they excluded home rule, we'll come after home rule. Well, what I'm kind of hoping is that we get this done, get this passed, turn that into law, that this is our planning area or zoning plan. And they won't be able to touch it because it's already been in effect. I'm having more fear of not having it in effect and then they come back after you.
If they change the law, then it would, the law
But
would.
a lot of times they won't, if something's in effect, they won't disband what's going on. Especially with zoning. We're a funny little town because we only have one way to expand it that way.
I know, I agree
So
100%.
we're trying to protect that half mile and, well, you heard the people I talked to, we're talking about, development, we're talking about subdivisions, I gotta go that way.
Yeah, I get it.
So that's where our argument is, and that's why, to me, this ordinance right now is important, to lock that in as a law, so we can, hopefully, if the state decides to step it up, we somehow, some way protect ourselves, because we installed that while under home rule, and we could make that law.
So it's the home rule though, difference, I think, is where I was trying to, so that makes the difference there.
Did they amend the other where it doesn't include the home rule? Include it? Like, if you make amendments to add things or take things out?
I think what Billy's saying is not make amendments, just do it.
No, that's.
He's talking about the state, he's talking about the state law.
Can the state come back and say, oh, they're gonna amend it to include home rule?
This is just my impression of being around for as long as I have, I guess, is I don't think they will come back and amend what they already passed to include home rule as a preempted, thing. I think what they would do is they would try and force that issue sometime here in the future, which is what the mayor's talking about, trying to get this in place before they take that step. My belief is this: counties and non-home municipalities are much easier to control than home municipalities. And I would have guessed when they did that law for non-home rule, they would have done home rule at the same time. And the reason and to me, my impression from the reason that they didn't is that they have a harder time coming to home rule to try and regulate them. You don't find a lot of law that says it's preempting home rule authority on that. Not saying that they won't, because I think it really is driven by the idea of the money at play for solar, not so much wind, maybe a little bit, but the money at play in solar is tremendous. You wouldn't believe it. And so I can see it, but that's the point is, most legislation is forward-looking, not backward-looking, and so you want to think about the idea of doing it sooner than later.
We're just talking about amending the ordinance. If from what I'm hearing, that if we amend it, it's only for, the benefit of Earthrise, the solar.
It would lessen restrictions, basically.
Right.
This was what Dave talked, if we go back to and needed to amend it, more than likely it would be a situation to lessen restrictions.
It could be either way, and I'm not going to debate the idea of what benefits or doesn't benefit Earthrise and what may happen or not happen. When this is put in place and when Earthrise steps into the idea of trying to apply and put their project in place, it could go either way. And the concept is this board has to think about what is reasonable and sensible in terms of any amendments to that ordinance, adding or subtracting.
In the meantime, if they file a permit, then it goes to the date of when that permit is filed. Whatever's in place at that time, what would stand on the date that they file the permit request. You just want to make sure you've got exactly what you want in place now before you lift your moratorium, because if they come the next day and file their permit, even though you don't want to take the assumption that, oh, we're going to amend it because you're going to get caught, and then you're not going to have it in place the way you want. So you want to make sure your ordinance like this. You don't know when they're going to file.
My opinion that I've shared with the mayor is that I think what is currently drafted is probably about as solid as you're going to get. I mean, to be honest, I'm not sure there'd be much you'd want to change in there, period. Good, more or less restrictions. I mean, that's just me, though. Obviously, these things are up for the board discussion and vote. But I can touch on a couple of changes. Weren't so much any reductions. It was more of a recognition that, their concept is some of what was languaged out in there is actually encompassed by like the agreements they have to have with the state for the idea of reclamation of land and things like that. It's already required in those agreements for them to do what we were actually adding as a separate piece on itself. So if I take out this, doesn't mean they don't have to do it. They have to do it. It's just under a different mechanism that is already referenced in the ordinance. And so, again, my opinion is I'm not sure there would be, in terms of amending this, I don't know if there's much that you would do with it.
So what are we voting on there?
Well, we went from one, we actually went from one and slid into another to cover the first one. So,
just extend it to July first, so we make sure we get zoning and everything in, that's only 9 extra days. Well, I guess we gotta get board meeting, never mind. We'll just extend it to July first.
Yeah, you can.
That's what's in.
Is that what it
It's
said?
drafted as extending to July 1.
Okay, I just thought it was still.
No, we said,
No.
if, because of the zoning part of it, it may be able to get through zoning before our next board meeting. If not, we have to have a special meeting. That's what that conversation.
And you'll have another meeting if you need more time, they can deal with it then, right? You have a meeting in June before July 1, so if it's not done, then you take more action.
Well, the thing of it is if we start, Mike's biggest concern is the battery part of it not having it. And what I'm saying is that the process of waiting for all this to happen, we could work on trying to take care of, resolve the battery thing, because I may be talking out of turn, but with that land use plan in place, we can say no batteries. Within the corporate limits, we can say no batteries. That does the half mile. Am I kind of barking up the right tree?
Well, again, you want to think through the idea of how you're going to approach the regulations on that. I mean, if it's, again, not zoning it out of existence ultimately, I guess, or saying no completely, no inside the corporate limit, I could probably see that because I don't know, the extent of the size of these things that people are going to want to have. If it's a moneymaker, it's going to be significantly sized. You wouldn't want that inside the corporate limit. So I think that's an easy answer. And then if it's really geared toward utility solar is the only way they're gonna make money, then it has to go out the half mile, and it's now subject to whatever's out there.
But, that's kind of what I'm saying. We can still work on the battery. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Well, it's not just a battery, it's just.
Because when a battery burns, they evacuate town. Because originally GM, that's what it was gonna be used for. And then when I started doing some research on it, I told them, if you wanna fight, go ahead and say you're gonna put batteries over there. Well, I talked to the people that control GM, and Earthrise has not purchased GM. As of yet, the only thing they purchased is that peaker plant. In all the meetings, if everybody was at Callan, remember, we are not doing batteries. And they went up to that gal at the end of that one meeting and said, your ass sit there and said you're gonna put them over here. Well, that's not part of our project. Then you start studying this and you find out that when the batteries burn, when one of the shipping containers burn, they evacuate town because it throws out a toxic plume. So, just like with the utility solar, I would like to think that we have control within our town, within our corporate limits, and then we would also have control of our zoning within that half mile, that land use plan on the comprehensive. As to say, you're not getting it close to us, you have to push it out, no, it ain't happening.
I remember when we were here, when Earthrise was here, we were asking them questions, and that question was asked about the batteries.
Yes.
And they didn't say no, they said not at this time.
Yeah, we are.
There was a lot of answers like that, so just keep that in mind.
Well, originally,
Not at this time.
that gal who's no longer with us.
Yeah.
That gal sat there and made a cake. Her words were, not with this project. And when I went up to her afterwards, and everybody thought I said, why did you lie to them? She said, I didn't lie. Them batteries is not part of this project. I said, this is a phase of the whole project.
Yeah, exactly.
I said, you flat lied to them, and if they find out you lied, don't come back.
Yeah, they've done that a lot.
I think what's gonna happen is the energy grids get stressed every day, and they're building these data centers. And I think when you start seeing grids crash, I think our governor has plans, and they probably got emergency orders in place to where you guys can't say nothing about it. You need batteries, you need solar. I mean, I don't know how far home rule can go, and I'm not legal on that, but I can see a battle coming.
Well,
I mean, solar's here.
Let me tell
Is
you.
it a coincidence that the batteries are showing up and they're sending us all letters?
What would you say if I told you right now, I could tell you a place right by here, who Ameren refuses to allow them to hook up a 2 megawatt solar system because the grid's too full.
We might be safe in this area.
Danville Sanitary District, they're trying to put in a 2 megawatt to run their plant. And what they don't use, they want to feed into the power line, and Ameren told them, you cannot hook up, the grid is too full.
I don't know, what they say here is one data center. That's,
Well, we ain't got the water around here for a data center anyway.
a lot of places don't, but they're trying.
Gate around the whole
Now they're saying they're closed loop system, but,
Florida just put in a thing where that the residents and somebody else have first choice, or is basically those data centers come last when it comes to water.
Well, see, that's like,
It-
medical like that, they're probably gonna tap water from out of the Great Lakes to cool that.
You see what they're doing in Indiana with that data center? It's ridiculous. Horrible.
The first thing, okay, we gotta get back on track here, cleaning the moratorium.
Let's compromise, go 45.
man,
July 15th.
There you go.
Well, like I said,
You can always, you know.
Yeah, you can
release
always
it
lift
sooner. I guess that's really my point, more so
Right.
than a word about a battery or something else, it just gives you, you know.
well, just out of curiosity, how many consultant attorneys or whatever have been contacted to, and come on to this?
I've contacted 8.
And none of them will take
I had
it?
one call me, yes, actually got back with me this morning, said they're already representing somebody, in town. And the other one, I missed his call because I had to go out of the office, hoping to hear back from him tomorrow.
Like I said, my recommendation was 30-day extension to get it through the zoning, get it passed, so that becomes law.
You guys have the 10-day leeway period, or that, with homework, you get out of that too? The 10 days that once it's passed, then there's a 10-day period to where, till it actually goes into effect.
The
Well, we
ordinance,
gotta do
the
it
ordinance
where we
states the
can
same
pass
thing.
it.
Okay, I just wanted, yeah, because there's a lot of them where they've got the 10-day, but maybe it's.
That's the ones that impose penalties for violations. This one, again, there will be penalties for violations, but what the ordinance itself doesn't contain those. That's the only time you get 10 days.
Okay.
So, I'll tell you what,
And are you doing?
I'll do it this way to get this thing along. I need a motion, yea or nay, to extend the moratorium till July 1st.
I make a motion.
Why?
Yay.
Huh?
I make a motion, yay.
I start saying, you gotta listen to that one, Berger, but it was a yea or nay.
Second.
Trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Barnes,
Yes.
trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Wyber,
No.
trustee Sims.
No.
30 days. The 30 not 30 days, the July 1st extension passed.
About 6 weeks.
Now that goes to the next one. Commercial solar ordinance discussion, which we've been done throughout the other discussion. For everybody that's trying to figure out what's all going on. Ms. Comrie came in and said, hey, you might want to check out your ordinance. I called Dave. Dave said, she's absolutely right. We can't pass the ordinance today because there's a zoning 15-day notification period. So that's why the ordinance was not pushed to be passed today. But in this time frame, while we're waiting on the zoning commission to set a date, conversation can still be had about the ordinance. And I'm sure that you guys especially, I'm sure somebody has reached out about batteries already. And other communities and what they've done wording wise to fight it.
I think you have to watch on batteries because aren't there also batteries that you can get for residential?
Well,
Backup.
you don't get solar for residential, so that's
Well,
what
that means they get the solar with battery backup.
yeah, yeah, if you wanna pay the extra.
Yeah.
But it's like everything else, I don't think it's so much, yes, they are a hazard,
Would be
but you take
size of
something the
the-
size of a shipping container, and it's a battery that catches fire, it becomes a area-wide.
Yeah, I understand all that. I just say we need, yeah, that'd be something we have to get into in the zoning ordinance for batteries, but, cause if you just, on the possibility of having residential,
Well,
and so we have to go by, find out information on battery sizes.
what about EVs?
That's the same thing.
That's what I'm saying, I think the battery thing is a whole different monster. Because when you get into that, you gotta think about EVs, you gotta think about home, you gotta think about industrial, commercial. How about a guy how small of an area did you say?
They're like 12, well, you're about a quarter acre, but they're.
A quarter acre, this can happen in. So I could go from a quarter acre to the size of the General Motors over here. So I think the battery thing is a whole different monster that needs to be attacked differently.
What's funny is, they'll tell you they're safe, they're in a containment cell and all this and that. When you read their contract on if they go for it, if they're gonna build, if they have a catastrophic event, like it even states it right off the bat, fire, then they can walk out away from the contract. So they're telling you it won't work. If they have a fire, they can.
Well, the other question I would have to have is, with the hazard of the battery and the way that it can create a toxic plume, how the hell is it insured? How could you, as a property owner, go, hey, I want your batteries here, and your insurance gonna go, oh, yeah, we'll insure you? Because wouldn't you have to carry the liability if that burns and you pollute the whole neighborhood and make everybody evacuate?
They said anything, you know, they act like they'll take care of it, it's no problem, it's on us, it's on us. If it raises your insurance, we'll pay it. Raises your taxes, we'll pay it.
Kinda like these guys that come through repairing roofs after a hailstorm.
Yeah, like you getting a new fire truck and it's all right, you need it, you know, they just wanna give you stuff, they wanna tell you, and that there's a red flag.
So that's what I'm saying, I think that's a whole different factor to those questions, to what's in insurance alone. If you own a quarter acre in town, you're telling me they're gonna be responsible if it catches fire and makes everybody in town evacuate?
Well, I think that's
Or
why they
do
want
clean up
300
after
feet
the
buffer.
evacuation?
Well, not only that, but you look at, there's another ordinance, for example, this is in another state, but they have insurance requirements, general liability policy, environmental pollution liability policy, certificate of insurance, affidavit of responsibility, commercial SES required operation permit. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but look, they've got it in there for a reason. There's one. But you gotta research it and know what you're talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about, so I have to research it.
So, anyway, that was the whole deal on the commercial solar ordinance discussion, was to explain why things went the way it did, and we kind of combined both of them together in the last discussion. But as everybody can tell, our next project is gonna be battery, for sure. So, that being said, does anybody have a need for executive session?
No.
I do now. Something was really fast.
I need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
A second.
Trustee
Yes.
Trustee Barr.
Yes.
Trustee Weinberg. Trustee Sill.
Yes.
Are you talking?